What's going on? Yeah, I know Destiny already did a reaction to Professor Dave. I'm not going to bother watching it because I already did my own reaction to Dave, so I'm not watching Destiny's reaction to a thing that I already saw. Like, his video is just ridiculously fucking long. Dude, it's really hard to keep your fucking head on straight when there's so many fucking retards. I wish there was, like, some kind of retard filter. Maybe, like, the next generation of meta glasses can just filter out retardation for you, so you think, society is made up of sane, rational fucking adults? Fuck.
Point that the Russian manpower crisis is really putting the screws to Vladimir Putin's war effort. The only question is, how can he solve it? What can he do to get more men into the field and resolve his economic crisis at the same time? Sounds like an impossible task, but Vladimir Putin has escaped from worse political crises before. Just what solution is he gearing up for?
I don't think anything's been worse.
Well, it looks pretty bad. Let's talk about it. So, Zelensky is warning that Putin plans to mobilize up to 500,000 Russians and send them into the war. Specifically, they estimate that between 300 and 500,000 people will possibly be mobilized in late September or early October. Now, I want to point out that this actually wouldn't require much of a change at all from the actual Russian government, because remember, Russia is a country with mandatory military service. And what has happened thus far in the war is that under Russian law, which Vladimir Putin personally dictates, a conscript who is doing their mandatory service can only be used to defend Russian sovereign territory, and that any individuals that fight in Ukraine are volunteers who sign contracts. Now, the pool of conscripts is a great source of contract fighters because, well, think about it. Oftentimes in Russia, individuals who are stuck in the conscription pipeline are oftentimes very poor, very young, and often for the first time away from their families. It's pretty easy to coerce them to say, listen, you got a steady paycheck maybe for the first time in your life over the last 18 months, plus the Russian military has just trained you in how to fight. Why not sign a contract, make 10 times as much, and just fight in Ukraine? It's a key source of manpower for the Russian war effort. But even
No, I'm not a fucking insecure faggot retard who shaves his head to hide gray hairs. Does that answer your fucking question?
now, conscripts are getting wise to the realities of the war, and those units that take the highest casualties.
Yeah, I saw some of the Lyle McDonald snitch drama with her and her boyfriend. Lyle is correct. They didn't really read the research, and they end up using weird, murky terms for things like calorically neutral and bulking and stuff, just to muddy the waters so they can shift their argument around. They're both idiots. I've debated her before, and her boyfriend's this like cringe fucking white knight douchebag. So yeah. Dylan donated $2 apparently during Ryder just emailed you.
Korean, someone from Korea. Question for Coach Trevor. Are you ever going to do the stream with vegan gains that you promised? He says you haven't been responding to his emails. I want to see the collab.
Yeah, definitely. I'll email it right now.
Okay, someone says, Coach, what are your thoughts on Port Arthur, Bryant, a Patsy, or MBK? Guys, what is...
Violent criminals that have no place in society.
Yeah, he did email me. Um. Okay. They are 11 hours ahead. Um. Okay.
Like, you know, even like these violent immigrants coming to Australia, it's like we put them in prison, or we give them rehabilitation courses, or we give them out. Like, what are we doing? We just give them some lead. Give them some lead, mate. Give them 5 rounds of lead. Just mag dump them. Just line them up in a straight line, 10 deep, and just mag dump.
Careful.
You know? So yeah, that's what I
I
reckon.
hate speech.
Yeah, yeah. But if you're a violent criminal, I don't think you have a place in society. In my world, in my view. Save taxpayers' money. We put that money into growing organic fruit farms, cycling promotion, better roads, you know, wider roads, etc. Just much better things to do. Community art projects, yeah, things that enhance society. So I'm emailing Richard Vegan Gains now.
His name's Richard.
Yeah, Richard.
Guys, I finished this whole thing. Got this at 6 o'clock last night.
Yeah, nice.
And then I finished it after saying, guys, I hate jackfruit. Hey, Rochelle, Eric from Canada. I'm a big fan. Thank you, Eric, for being here. Live stream.
Yeah. Should get rid of its nuclear weapons capabilities.
But the budget is
Okay, there you go. Thanks for the donation, Dylan.
These are the ones that receive the most young conscripts. So it is not the source of manpower that it used to be for the Russian government. And that's why it seems highly likely that Putin is going to be actually conducting a mobilization. Now, mobilization is a third thing. It's not contract service, and it's not being a conscript. Mobilization means that everyone who completed their mandatory military service as a conscript is now getting activated and then sent to Ukraine. Now, Putin tried this once before in 2022. When he did so, Russia experienced an unprecedented amount of both political upheaval, but also brain drain as Russia's most productive citizens, young men with significant future prospects, fled the country. And those men that fled were oftentimes ones that Vladimir Putin's economy needed. Not only would he have preferred to have young military age men there for the war effort, but the Russian economy actually just needs productive workers, and the individuals that fled the country were disproportionately likely to be ones who are able to work abroad. Think like a data analyst, a physician, a skilled trade.
Alex, nobody fucking cares, okay? I shave my head because I want to shave my fucking head. I don't give a shit. Why the fuck are you still talking about this dumbass shit? I also bought new clothes recently. Is the reason you bought new clothes because people said you dress like a hobo and you're insecure about the way you look? Like, I don't care if anybody makes stupid fucking assumptions about anything I do. Shut the fuck up. Late Night Goose donated $2.
Ah, sweet! My name is Retep, and I am evil. My name is Retep, and I am evil. My name is Retep, and I am evil.
Ah, sweet! Ah, sweet!
Someone? I'm going to die.
The best part. You can eat them.
Neither do I. Why can't people seriously just mind their own business?
Cause they're fucking losers who don't have shit to do. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Thanks for the donation, Late Night Goose.
Tradesmen, those kind of Russians who are badly needed inside of Russia to work and pay taxes, fled the country and have not returned by almost all accounts. And so the unpopularity of the first wave of mobilization has stopped Vladimir Putin from engaging in a second. And also, you should store that in the back of your mind, because when Putin makes these preposterous threats about nuclear war or the full might of the Russian military, remember, this is a guy who hasn't even activated his regular, normal reservists, right? Even that is too politically untenable for him. So it's unlikely that he's going to take some even more absurd escalatory action. But now it seems like mobilization might be on the table. Zelensky is claiming that the Kremlin may be expanding their mobilization in September or early October. This corresponds, of course, with Russian elections that are likely to occur on September 21st. Now, remember, Russian elections are not really competitive in the sense that you or I would think of them. Sometimes there will be multiple Putin-approved candidates that like kind of compete with each other, but mostly what they're competing for is access to power. They don't really compete for with different ideological bends, because the Russian State Duma exists primarily to write the laws Vladimir Putin wants to bring into existence. He has direct personal control over the laws of the Russian Federation, and when he wants something to happen, he simply instructs his Duma deputies to write laws to allow it to occur. This is interesting because, as we talked about with the conscripts, a great example is that when Putin first invaded Ukraine, what he said was that he was liberating an independent country, the DPR and LPR. Right? These are the two oblasts, Luhansk and Donetsk Oblast, in Ukraine. Vladimir Putin at first said, hey, we are liberating independent countries that just the pesky West doesn't want to recognize. And the State Duma said, yes, we authorize Vladimir Putin to liberate our neighbors, to save our neighbors from the oppressive Ukrainian regime. And then about a year later, Vladimir Putin said, actually, the DPR and LPR, they're part of Russia. They're part of Russian sovereign territory. And the State Duma immediately, right on cue, reversed course and said, oh, we now annex these countries that were independent. Now we're annexing them. Now they're part of Russia, right? But obviously, that doesn't even make sense either, because, well, conscripts should be fighting and defending the motherland, right? But they're not. So what gives? And it's because, obviously, these laws are just sort of performances put on by Vladimir Putin and rubber stamped by the Duma. They don't carry any real legal, meaningful weight inside the country. So
No, I didn't get micropigmentation. You fucking idiot.
the state Duma is going to greenlight whatever they want, and those elections will happen on the 21st. And then after the votes are tabulated, Putin will announce his mobilization. And again, this isn't about the election, but the election can become a opportunity for opposition figures to galvanize
Bye-bye. See you later.
discontent among the Russian public, right? It's kind of like it's a fake election, but it really draws into contrast how politically unfree Russia is. And, when you do something really unpopular, it risks getting people riled up needlessly. So the Ukrainian president is estimating that a potential call up could mobilize about 300,000 to 500,000 people. That would effectively increase by about 40-ish% the number of Russians in Ukraine if that were to be successful. Now, remember, the Russian infrastructure to train 300,000 to 500,000 people already exists. They do it every 6 months. And so this would not be that hard. It would just be tough to get them to the front lines. But remember, every single month, Russia is likely experiencing a net loss of 5,000 to 7,000 troops. And in Ukraine, so the total number of Russian troops deployed in Ukraine is actually going down. That's a huge crisis for a military. You really can't afford to lose that many troops before you start cannibalizing your formations and degrading your combat power. Now, Zelensky says, listen, they're going to be poorly trained or untrained people thrown onto the battlefield. They're going to take heavy losses. This is almost all true, but that will give Putin a short-term breathing room, because he has two major problems that he is trying to solve with this if he does this mobilization. In fact, one of the reasons I think mobilization is going to occur is simply because the problems Vladimir Putin is facing most acutely will all be solved with a mass mobilization. What are they? The first is that the special military operation is become untenably expensive. The Russian government is operating on a budget deficit. It is swiping the credit card effectively to fund the special military operation. And a huge part of that is these exorbitant bonuses that are required to attract fighters to sign up as contract soldiers. You could save a lot of money if instead you simply forcibly mobilize these troops and said, listen, you're just going to be earning conscript level pay, if any pay at all. That would reduce, probably by my estimate, would be 90% of salary and benefits payments that the Russian government would have to make, and would greatly reduce the cost of the special military operation. You also have a problem of inflation in the Russian Federation, which is also caused in part, some of it is because of shortage.
Hello, cousin. Put a picture in my community post that you might like. Let me take a look. AI clean up an old picture. Other than slight variations, pretty close to what I looked like in 1999 when I was an officer. Looking pretty sharp there, Vince. Did you used to straighten your hair, or is that an AI thing? It's hard to imagine you with hair. You've been bald for a while. Thanks for the donation. Or wait, you didn't donate, never mind. But yeah.
Of things like gasoline. Can't imagine how that happened. But also because of these exorbitant wages paid to service members, right? And their families when those service members are liquidated. But also because of the exorbitant military spending, it's required them to pay workers really high wages, both to ensure that they work in, say, a Shahed factory, where they're risking their lives. There's a premium for that. Plus, they just have to compete with the local recruiter. And so that has pushed wages up faster than actual Russian economic productivity. And it may also And so by mobilizing, you're going to actually pull some of those high wage workers out of the workforce. It's going to depress wages and make the cool Russian inflation. It's also because the Russian economy is slowing down, it may have a surplus of military age men who cannot work, right? Particularly industries like construction and agriculture are very male heavy in Russia. So something has to absorb these excess workers, and a mobilization will do exactly that. And so it's going to help give Vladimir Putin breathing room in a lot of different aspects of his war effort. That's why I think you're really likely to see it. But there's other solutions that Vladimir Putin is also toying with, notably this one here. And because it is reportedly, according to Ukrainian intelligence, also asking North Korea for an additional influx of troops. Now, you might recall that
This just seems so fucking retarded. Didn't the last time this happened, they basically just mass surrendered? Like a bunch of them died, obviously, but like the rest like mass surrendered and they all just jerked off to porn. It's really weird.
That the North Koreans provided about 10 to 15,000 troops during the Ukrainian incursion into Kursk. And I think what happened is that North Korea seemed to have said, listen, we are not going to invade a third country, but we will absolutely help Russia defend its own territory. And so the North Koreans, almost certainly with Chinese tacit approval, deployed 10 to 15,000 troops. And at first, the North Koreans fared really terribly in the battlefield. But they very quickly adapted and actually did some innovations that spread throughout the battlefield, i.e., the idea that you can use a small arm rifle to shoot down an FPV drone. This is something that really wasn't considered to be a viable strategy. It was considered a desperation move. But in fact, as they've shown, it actually can work. The North Koreans were able to pull it off as a part of their tactical doctrine. And so the North Koreans in Kursk were very effective, and the North Koreans initially denied that their troops had been there at all. The Ukrainians said, no, we really think they are. These are fake documents. But then what was interesting is that the United States intelligence apparatus said, no, these really are North Korean troops out here. And what consequences did North Korea face for sending their troops to expand this war? Nothing. They faced no consequences, no additional sanctions, performative condemnations by European countries. And so the North Koreans likely have turned around and said, listen, we can publicly admit this. I mean, this is a real photo, by the way, of Kim Jong-un. He constructed a memorial to the hundreds of troops that were killed in Kursk. Here they are. This is North Korean troops, right? This is modern battlefield armor. This is him really publicly not just acknowledging, but praising the fact that they went, and here they are, literally a North Korean flag and a Russian flag, praising the troops that went there and fought in this military operation. And so you have the North Koreans saying, listen, we went and did this. The international community didn't have anything to say about it. They just kind of took it. And he says, great, so now we would really consider helping you again. And maybe this time it'll be more troops, again, gaining more combat experience, and likely they are going to do so fighting in Ukraine, where again, North Korea.
JP donated $2. Let me see.
Is the most pro-pally state I've been to. I go to California. California is the most pro-pally state I've been to.
I don't know why it does that. It like plays it for a second, then reloads.
I go to California. I stay there for months. Every time I turn around, there's either a banner drop or a protest or an opportunity for me to teach somebody about Palestine. The worst state I've been to is Florida. A lot of people think New York is where all the Zionists are at. The Zionists are actually flooded in Miami.
Really?
They control
I did not know
Florida.
that. Really?
They control all of Florida. So I went to Florida one time, and my truck is not allowed in Florida no more. They passed a law in Florida that anything that is on your vehicle that is against Israel is anti-Semitic, and you may not come into that state with it.
So if you go to Florida right now,
Good. Get the fuck out of Florida. Get the fuck out of the country. This guy's a fucking idiot.
You can get in trouble? Is that what you're telling me?
I went to Florida recently. I took my truck over there and I got maybe 2 miles in and got pulled over by a state trooper.
Wow.
You know, and I'm like, why am I being pulled over? I wasn't speeding or anything like that. But I have my big Palestine flag flying in the back of my...
This guy's a literal fucking retard. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Korea says, listen, the international community didn't do anything to us when we fought in Kursk. They're not going to do anything to us when they fight in occupied Ukraine. And 30,000 troops would be a massive difference. It's the equivalent of about 1 month's worth of recruitment for the Russian Federation. And so Zelensky is reporting actually that there are now receiving stations in Vorozhne Oblast. This is a huge deal because, again, the North Koreans, remember, these green troops, well, they're not as green as they were because they have learned a bunch from those North Koreans that survived the fighting in Kursk. Those North Koreans have returned. They have instilled in their brethren new doctrine, new combat tactics. Now they're going to arrive into these Russian reception areas 80% familiar with modern combat. They're going to know what a drone is. They're going to know how to maneuver. They're going to know how to protect themselves from observation, right? The Russians will give them a little bit of a battlefield update. They'll talk to them about the AI drones and new tactics and changes to the battlefield. But again, it's far easier to move the North Koreans from 2024 to 2026 than it is to move them from 1964 to 2026. But again, North Korea doesn't do this stuff for free. They want ballistic missile technologies. They're going to want a lot more. They're going to want rocket technologies. They're also going to want economic assistance, right? They're going to demand a lot from Russia because they know Russia is backed into a corner. And the North Koreans reportedly, again, have been routinely sending troops kind of rotating through, not necessarily doing combat actions, but doing a lot of rear area work, demining in Kursk, for example. So this is a really, really troubling sign. Again, and I think it's also what you should take away from this is that this is much more international than we are acknowledging. Remember, North Korea relies entirely on China, its patron. They are not going to send troops without tacit Chinese approval. You also have the Russian Shahed, the Russian Garand is a Shahed drone. They are Iranian. And the Iranians have purchased large amounts of Russian air defense systems. This has been a cooperation.
I hope all the inbreeding eventually results in Palestinians becoming extinct.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. I mean, Muslim societies have, been around for a while. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
And we're seeing an emerging axis, an anti-American axis, that are committed to destroying the West. And the ignorance with which the West seems to be aware of this, again, look no further than the fact that Putin brought in a third country into this conflict on the ground and then has the gall to seethe and cope and rage when he claims NATO forces have it out for him. Like, it's absurd. But it's not absurd. It's realpolitik. It's Vladimir Putin doing what he can get away with. And every time he
What did I do at the Ottawa Vegan Festival? Basically just talked to a vegan teacher the whole time.
Putin knows that Donald Trump is the one who calls the shots. He is. He could have been way more aggressive towards Vladimir Putin if he wanted to. If I was president of the United States and Russia was supplying Iran with weapons to kill U.S. soldiers, I would kill Vladimir Putin.
My name is Jimmy Rushton, and I'm a special correspondent at the Kyiv Independent. I'm recording this after our interview with Laura Loomer in Kyiv. Loomer is a controversial but prominent figure in US conservative politics, and someone President Donald Trump himself is known to pay close attention to. She has previously written for Russian state media, spread Russian narratives about Ukraine and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and heavily opposed all US aid to Ukraine. She now herself admits that she, like many others on the conservative right, was duped by Russian propaganda. After spending a week in Ukraine, she is now advocating for military aid to Kyiv and for tougher sanctions on Russia. She also suggested that President Trump himself visit Kyiv. We believe this radical shift is newsworthy and it warrants further scrutiny. As such, when we were offered an interview without preconditions or advanced sight of any questions,
Vegan teacher film stuff, I don't know if she uploaded it anywhere.
we believed it was in the public interest to conduct it. If you believe independent journalism from wartime Ukraine matters, you can support the Kyiv Independent by joining our community for the price of a cup of coffee. We are an audience-funded media outlet, and we can only continue this work thanks to viewers like you. Join us by following the link in the description below. You've been in Ukraine for a little over a week now. You experienced your first ballistic missile attack a couple of nights ago, and you've just gotten back from Kharkiv. So can you tell me how your impressions have changed of this country since you've arrived?
I've been very honest from the beginning. I was always very anti-Ukraine. I was against sending U.S. tax dollars to Ukraine. Ukraine, for some reason, became a very polarized political issue. Usually warfare or foreign policy isn't necessarily polarized. It's a national issue. But for some reason, we've seen that the issue of Ukraine kind of got attached to the Democrats, and it became this Democrat Party talking point, the Democrats and rhinos. And so, I'm obviously a MAGA conservative Republican, and it was very unpopular for MAGA conservative Republicans to support Ukraine. It didn't really leave a good taste in people's mouth with regards to Ukraine after the first impeachment hearing of President Donald Trump, where they tried to impeach him over a phone call with Zelensky, talking about allegedly Joe Biden, and the way that the Democrats branded this was, and the way they described it in the media was, Donald Trump is trying to pressure the Ukrainian government into investigating Hunter Biden so that we could get dirt on Joe Biden for the election. He completely made the story up. As Donald Trump says, it was a perfectly good phone call, and then he was acquitted. He wasn't found guilty. And so people watched that, and they kind of attached Ukraine to the Democrats, and they thought that Ukraine was used as a slush fund, kind of like a piggy bank for the Democrat.
The war in Iran has begun, and the Young Turks are bitching about it.
Let me take a look.
We're going to be hitting them very hard because it's our turn to hit them. They know it's coming. They're asking us not to do it, but they tried shooting it last night. So we had 5 rockets shot going 8,500 miles an hour, and all 5 rockets were knocked down to the ground. But they nevertheless took a shot, so it's our turn. And we'll see if we get there with an agreement at some point, but we're going to hit them very hard.
So that is in response to an Iranian attack on Tuesday night. That attack is being described as a surprise attack. How could it be a surprise when we're in the middle of a war? A couple of days before that, we had hit them for 13 nights in a row, which was of course not described as surprise attacks. So now we're retaliating for their retaliation of our 13 nights of strikes in a row. And on we go, deeper and deeper into this spiral of war that is an absolute disaster. So as I'm gonna show you here, we hit southern Iran, we hit Keshem Island, but we also apparently hit their oil fields. Now that is a different level of war that could bring us a different level of reaction, which should cause economic collapse. So let's get into it. So CENTCOM put out this statement saying CENTCOM assets struck dozens of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps targets in Iran, including military command centers, missile and drone facilities, coastal surveillance and defense sites, and maritime capabilities. The strikes aim to further diminish threats posed.
Dodo Donatillers, why is the White House posting this since he worked for Trump?
Well, nothing says honesty like taking the fifth, huh, Doc? What day of the week is it today?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth.
Well, I really don't know what the fucking whole thing with Fauci is. It's really weird. There's some things he did that were like fucking stupid during the pandemic, but it's like I don't know what is causing this weird fucking blowback with the entire Republican Party and Trump. Yeah, this was under the Trump presidency, so it's yeah, I saw a bunch of that already. He just kept pleading the fifth. The thing is, like, there's a reason he pled the fifth. It's not because he's trying. It's not like he could be hiding something, I guess, technically, but if he's caught saying something untruthful, or like, it's not, he doesn't even have to lie necessarily. If he says something that isn't true, which could be just an honest mistake, but it's assumed he was deliberately lying, he could end up going to prison just for that. So it makes sense to plead the fifth. And again, he has every right to do that.
AIPAC and Israel are not the same as Judaism and the Jewish people.
He hates Jewish people. He wants them exterminated. That's why he has a huge problem with Israel.
I love.
Thanks for the donation, llamas. Appreciate it. This is like saying, oh, I don't hate Americans. I just want America wiped off the face of the earth and not be a nation anymore. Yeah, so this guy's a fucking terrorist.
Judaism, and I love the Jewish people. I venerate Judaism, and I venerate the Jewish.
Yeah, loser. I've been doxxed, like, what, for the last 2-3 months now? Nobody fucking cares. Post my address wherever the fuck you want. Don't give a shit. We all know you're some fucking beta male fucking retard who doesn't make any fucking money or get any pussy. That's why you're in my fucking chat and spamming my fucking address everywhere, so it's not like this affects me in any way.
Jewish people, I stand with Judaism, and I stand with the Jewish people.
Is Pat Smint texting you on Facebook?
Yeah, sure, dude. Thanks for the donation.
And the single most dangerous thing that they've tried to tell us is that somehow they can extend the definition of anti-Semitism to include a foreign government and its leaders. I call bullshit. No. No. If you believe that anti-Semitism extends to include a foreign government and AIPAC, you are creating a dangerous circumstance. So it is important for us to recognize that we love Judaism and the Jewish people because we love people. And we love Palestinians and their rights because we love people. And we love that our tax dollars get spent here, on schools here, and healthcare here, because we love people. You cannot claim that human rights end at a border. You cannot claim that you want to invest in our kids when you send our money abroad to kill other people's kids. You cannot claim it.
Yeah, so that guy's a terrorist. That's good. I don't want this guy to win. Got called a fat, spick, N-word, race traitor by white people multiple times for saying El Sayed isn't electable in general. He's the poll that proves I was right. Here's the proof. That's hilarious. How would... This guy's like Arab or something. Why would a fucking, like Mexican guy be called a race traitor? Like what? Apparently Mexicans and Arabs are the same?
VG, you don't even realize that progressives in 2028 will be pushing Abdul El Sayed. If he happens to win the Michigan Senate seat, then he will be a leading candidate for president in 2028 for the Democrats because he is a natural citizen here, unlike Mamdani.
That would be hilarious. Dude, that's a guaranteed loss for the fucking presidency, so... Like, my God, that's hilarious. That'd be so stupid. Abdul El Sayed soars ahead of Haley Stevens in the odds when. Why would Polymarket? Wait, is this Polymarket? What is this? Yeah, why would Polymarket? Are people just hoping they cash out big or something? It's fucking weird. I guess people on Polymarket aren't that smart. Let's see. 15-point lead over Haley Stevens, Michigan race. Does he? I thought she was ahead by a bit. Oh, wow. This is just pathetic.
People what they want. Come on. Come on.
I mean, it's not that kind of show, man. It's not that kind of show.
Come on.
By the way, Hassan Piker is on testosterone replacement therapy, and he's still a fucking weak beta male.
I want them to want me for my policy, man.
Yeah, I guess, like, he actually has to work out because he's planning on actually killing infidels, unlike Mamdani, who's just gonna let other people do it for him.
You've been in the gym your whole life. I've been in the gym my whole life. There's never been a moment where I've seen someone put up
He's been in the gym his whole life. Bro, this guy struggles to bench like 225.
weight, and I've been like, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, progressives are so stupid. They don't even the difference between Latinos and Arabs.
Yeah, apparently. Jeez. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. I guess if you're brown, it's all the same shit, right? Bro, like, Hassan is... I think he's taller than me. He's like 6'4". Like, if you actually watch this guy train, he's like shockingly, surprisingly weak. For a guy who's been weight training as long as he has, is on TRT, and is... Like, again, he's not this fucking midget. Like it's just so weird how this guy is such a fucking physically inept fucktard.
That's not
the culture. That's not what we're going for.
That's what weak, insecure people do.
Yeah.
Bro, it's so funny that even when you, like, the fucking alpha males of the, you know, fake progressive, like, commie fucking Democrat sphere, they're still fucking pussies. Oh, I hate them so much. Where were we? Wait, did I skip a fucking thing? I don't know. This link you gave me is weird. I don't know what the hell this shit is. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at here, but thanks, Dodo.
Posed by Iran and its proxies to American forces, commercial shipping, and neighboring Gulf countries. So that is what's being described as a heavy wave of strikes. Although that does sound similar to our earlier wave of strikes, that's why that story about how we might have potentially hit their oil fields is the part that is the most important and what they might be referring to when they say heavy wave of strikes. So Mario Naval.
What's with these progressives and their obsession with people of color anyway?
I think they just really... So I think it's just a tribalism thing. Like, if you look at people on the far right or the far left, yeah, they're just more tribally minded. So if you go far left, they're going to be obsessed with race. If you go far right, they're going to be obsessed with race, or it could be like classism or something like that. So yeah, it's just one of those things. When you have political extremism, it's just basically a weird chimpanzee thing in our brain that's just tribalism. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo. If this law passed, then every grocery store in New York City is going to go under. Also, do you find it weird that all the progressives flocked to Michigan to support Abdul, but Mamdani has not? Is Mamdani Shia? Why? Maybe. Yeah, unless he's busy, but yeah, maybe. New York Democrats introduced bill requiring 10% self-checkout discount at food retailers. That is just so shockingly fucking stupid. Shockingly fucking stupid. They like, this is a communism thing. Like, buddy, oh my god.
Would you rather have collage kids watching Nick Fuentes or watching Hassan? If you can only choose one.
Nick Fuentes, even when he was at his, like, fucking most crazy, like, the Holocaust never happened arc. Look, far-right extremism is still better than far-left extremism. When you look at what the Nazis did versus what the communists did, it makes Nazism look like a fucking children's playground. So, yeah, and especially now that Nick's moderated his position for whatever reason, I think it's just so that he can make money. That's really it. Yeah, like, college kids listening to Nick at this point is just way better than listening to fucking Hassan. But yeah, that's just some communism shit. Like, again, the free market can sort this out. If a grocery store chain figured out that, oh, if we gave a 10% discount on checkout, and that wouldn't, you know, make us lose any money and more customers would come. Like, again, there's natural fucking price wars that happen and the market adjusts itself every single fucking time. Like, Democrats or these commie fucktards try to control the market with, like, this price fixing bullshit or whatever. It just makes everybody lose money. Everyone goes fucking broke, and it's just fucking stupid. Doesn't work. Dodo any tellers? Let me see. Imminent announcement expected on Gaza. From Egypt, where Hamas will store all weapons and cease military activities in exchange for full Israeli withdrawal. And end to targeted assassinations. In the arrangement, all police, light, heavy weapons alongside tunnels, production sites will be stored and placed strictly under the control of a technocratic Palestinian committee. Yeah, I don't know how that's really going to work out. That sounds... If that's happening, I don't know, we'll see. The far-right Republicans are unhinged racist anti-Semites against data centers too, apparently. They're saying Jews.
I'll tell you this. We've got... I'll tell you about... Let's say data centers for a second. We'll hit this. I'm not against data centers. We want to divide this country between winners and whiners. Between those who want America to win and those who want America to whine. The problem is that people then pay that much more property tax.
Weird. I don't know. I don't know what everybody's deal is with the data center thing. It's kind of strange. Thanks, Dodo.
Reported last night, new footage seemed to show that U.S. missiles striking Abadan. That's what you're looking at right there. From the best we can tell, Iran's oil refining heartland. Now, to be clear, this is unconfirmed, but if the strike was carried out by American forces, that is a very big deal. Well, no matter who it's carried out by, it's going to be a very large deal. So they explain, Mario does. Abadan holds one of the world's oldest and largest refineries, sitting right on the Iraqi border at the head of the Gulf, which makes any strike there carry weight far beyond the target itself. Washington has spared Iran's energy infrastructure through the entire war, hitting military and maritime sites instead. So what exactly got hit in Abadan matters enormously. The city has absorbed strikes on its military facilities before, and nothing yet confirms whether tonight's hit the refinery, a base beside it, or something else entirely. CENTCOM called the strikes a powerful response to Iran's attacks on US forces without naming any locations. So why does that matter so much? Well, a lot of people on the right here, and certainly on Fox News and a lot of cable news say, it doesn't matter, we can hit them whatever we want. But if they ever attack us, oh my God, it's a surprise.
Why do people hate America these days so much, VG?
Commies. That's it. Thanks, Dodo.
Attack in the middle of a war, okay. But in this case, what the Iranians normally do is they strike back in the same proportion that we struck them. Now, they don't have the weaponry that we have, but they do have drones.
It's true, actually, if you look it up, Mamdani is Shia and Abdul is Sunni. So that might actually be it then. Look it up, VG, I'm not lying, so maybe that's why Mamdani has not been on the campaign trail for him, but all other DSA people like Bernie, OC, and everyone else has been. Yeah, because they don't care, right? Dude, the Sunni-Shia split is just fucking crazy. Like, that is more fucking wacko hardcore than the Catholic, like, Protestant divide thing. It is nuts. And yeah, a lot of like Americans and just, you know, Christians and Western people, like, they don't get it, but it's it's crazy ancient fucking blood feud. So yeah, that's definitely a possibility. It's kind of funny how, like, everything's indicating that Mamdani is much more of a fucking Muslim radical than he really lets on. Thanks though, Dodo.
And they can do significant damage, right? But when I say the same proportion, if we hit certain targets, they'll try to hit similar targets on our side. If we kill some of their soldiers, they try to kill some of ours. But if we hit oil fields, they strike back at oil fields, which brings us friend of the show, Daniel Davis, explaining this on X. If this proves to be true, that the US struck directly on Iranian oil infrastructure tonight, the likely response from Iran before sunup, or possibly within 24 hours, is likely to be finding the same targets on our side. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, UAE, Qatar, all potential recipients of Iranian missiles on their oil infrastructure solely because President Trump wanted to show how tough he was. If that's what gets hit, we are in serious trouble economically. We will be watching closely when the sun comes up in the morning. In the meantime, and the Strait of Hormuz remains closed and under Iranian control 149 days and counting. You remember how they told us, oh, this is only gonna take 4 or 5 weeks. Look, I've been through this movie before. In the Iraq War, they said it'd only take a small amount of time, just a couple of weeks. It only cost $1.2 billion. In reality, of course, all those wars combined cost us $8 trillion, accomplished absolutely nothing, got hundreds of thousands of people killed, including thousands of our own service members.
Dodo, $92.
Everybody tells me to stop drinking raw milk.
Well, that might be why you're literally fucking fat and have tits, even though you're like a child.
Because of how
Like, he literally has tits.
dangerous it is. But what they don't realize is that
Well, like, I don't know, maybe you don't want tits too? Like, that could also be a fucking reason?
humans have been consuming raw milk for thousands of years.
That's great. I'm pretty sure genital mutilation is also being done for thousands of years. Is this kid planning on going trans or something? Like, is that why he's drinking raw milk and growing his titties?
Raw milk is a superfood.
People keep telling me to stop drinking dirty water because dirty water is dangerous. But what they don't realize is that we've been drinking dirty water for thousands of years. Dirty water.
Why do communists hate America so much, VG?
'Cause they're commies. Thanks for the donation, dude. What really baffles me about the whole carnivore thing, or like not even full carnivore, like the paleo eating what our ancestors ate thing, none of these people are particularly fit. They're not like big, strong fucking dudes. Like, none of them served in the fucking military and like former Green Beret SAS hardcore dudes. None of them are like big fucking bodybuilders or powerlifters. Like, they're weird, neurotic fucking dorks who are just like skinny. They don't lift that much because, like, again, they're fucking pussies and they don't push themselves, and they kind of eat a stupid diet too. So that also holds them back. And then you have these like wannabe like fucking like it for some reason it's tied to masculinity, but like none of them are fucking that masculine. They're just like kind of weak dorks. I just don't get the appeal. Hitler wasn't far right, he was far left, and today's woke left share nearly identical ideology with him. He was far right. Definitely not far left. He was a far right totalitarian. You're going to see, like, again, when you go to the far ends of the political spectrum, you're going to see overlap between far left and far right extremism and totalitarianism. So, it's just, like, it's tribalism at the end of the day. It's, like, takes slightly different forms, but this is stupid. Oh my god. Free Palestine activists are campaigning to boycott the upcoming Spider-Man movie. Avi Arad, producer of the movie, was born in Israel, but he doesn't live there anymore. He also had the audacity to wear a yellow hostage ribbon. Buddy, just...
Chest up, shoulders back.
Oh, look, the guy who eats a shitty diet and accuses vegans of being weak, decrepit, malnourished, even though they lift more than him and are stronger than him, he's criticizing Brian Johnson. Like, what's weird, too, is, like, again, he's the most measured man on the planet. Like, you can look at his health markers that he publishes. There's nothing indicating that he's doing anything that's, like, killing him. And then this dumbass who eats, like, fucking butter and cheese and fucking ground beef all day. Who, again, is far weaker than, like, the vegans he makes fun of. Like, again, even back when I was natural, I was benching 100 pounds more than him. Alex, Alpha Destiny, again, benching 100 pounds more than him. Vegans age like milk. Whoa, they're malnourished. Ugh. So why are you still so small and weak compared to the vegans? You fucking idiot. Yeah, we'll react to that later. It's fucking stupid. Wait, this was the last link, right? Yeah. Oh, look, another dumb bitch female quitting veganism.
I've been vegan for 14 years. Today is a day.
Can the same be said about religious extremism like Christian extremism?
Like, again, there's some overlap, I guess, with Abrahamic religions. Whatever. Thanks, Dodo.
I'm so scared.
I'm more nervous than you are.
It looks really raw.
Okay, well, they're both fat and ugly, so I don't know why I'd care about some fat ugly bitch and her fat ugly boyfriend eating meat. Okay, go be fat and ugly and die young. Idiots.
Hi guys, it's Love.
Oh, fat ugly woman talking about why she's no longer vegan? Why would I care about what some fat ugly woman has to say? I don't, so we're not watching this. Thanks, Dodo. I guess I'll just go through this now. This fucking dork. By the way, this guy's a fucking bitch. He was making a bunch of health claims about veganism, saturated fat, and crap. I called him out for a debate. He refused. Like, this guy is the biggest fucking pussy. He just tries to act as though I don't exist and ignore me. So he's full of shit and he knows it.
Back. This is Revival Fitness. And if you haven't heard, the world's leading longevity expert, apparently, Brian Johnson, is going to die young, at least in relation to his goals. This guy has said he wants to live to 160. I've seen some content, he says 200 years old, absolutely obsessive. He monitors every single thing. He does like blood transfusions with his son, and he's got a team of doctors that guide him every step of the way, and he follows the science. And in spite of all of that, he's now got an autoimmune condition, autoimmune gastritis. It's a condition where the stomach is eating itself, and I'm somebody that has a number of autoimmune problems, or I've had a number of them. Most of mine are related to the skin. I've had rosacea forever. I have had outbreaks of psoriasis in the past, spots all over my body. I've even had issues with the eyes as well, like ocular rosacea, and then there's like subsets of that.
So this guy is a product of fucking inbreeding and has a weak constitution and is a neurotic fucktard. I can't eat this, and this leaves my skin. I'm dying.
He says, as a kid, I ate sugar cereal, drank sugary soda, and gobbled down fast food. As did I. I think that's very common, especially if you grew up in the United States. I became a young father of 3 and began building a business. Juggling that stress and grind, I let my health slip and gained 40 pounds. Within a few years, I'd fallen into a chronic, deep depression. So he seems to be trying to frame this like that's what caused the autoimmune issue, which you could argue those things did have an impact. Although I don't think it's likely that the stuff you ate as a young kid is really impacting you now. I mean, you've had a number of years removed from that, a long time at this point. You've been on the so-called healthiest diet for how many years now? You've had all these protocols, all of this medical expertise, trying to go back to what you did as a kid here. I think that's a very big reach. Autoimmune gastritis affects an estimated 2
$2.
All the time.
I'm not watching that, thanks, dude.
to 5% of people, and likely more because it hides and is challenging to diagnose. It's usually silent for years, surfacing only once the stomach has atrophied enough to do real damage. Iron deficiency first, then B12 deficiency. This is the same guy that eats a vegan diet. Who could have seen that coming? So in terms of this condition itself,
he was supplementing with B12, fucktard. So, like, again, doesn't matter where your source of B12 is coming from. If you have this fucking immune issue that affects absorption, you're not going to absorb anything.
that is going to affect the ability to absorb iron and B12. But the diet that
No.
this guy is eating is doing him no favors in that regard either.
No, you idiot. So, especially regarding B12, there's supplements. The iron, you could kind of make a point, but again, heme iron is not good for you. It is a cancer-causing carcinogen.
And it's going to be making this worse. When it comes to iron in the diet, heme iron is much more absorbable, only found in animal food.
That's great. That doesn't make it good for you.
Then B12 deficiency, which is a guarantee on a strict vegan diet.
By the way, that's not true. There's leg hemoglobin that's in Beyond Meat, so there are plant versions of heme iron. Dodo only tellers, wait, but listen to this part, VG. It would be fun to hear you insult her.
Is for you to start building muscle, lifting weights, right? So I started doing that. And then I've also learned that protein was very important in your diet. For 14 years of my vegan life, I did not care about protein.
This fucking overweight bitch is talking about how she wants to build muscle. Like, why are you just fat then?
So my diet was very high carb, and towards the end, it was high.
Then why didn't you just eat more fucking protein? It's called tofu, you idiot.
Fat, high carb, basically no protein, because I don't like beans. The only thing that I would eat was tofu. So like say.
Yeah, tofu has protein in it, so I don't know how that's a problem.
Seitan and, tempeh, seitan or tempeh, whatever. Like, I don't like the taste of that. Looking back now, that's all I ate was just carbs and fat for 14 years. I gained a lot of weight. Also, I'm not that very active.
You gained weight because you're a fucking glutton. I have a really fucking hard time believing that somebody would get to this body composition eating like rice, fruits, I don't know, cashews. Like, sure, you can get maybe a little chubby or something if you just have a thought, but like this, where like you can like really grab a fucking stomach. You were just eating fucking vegan ice cream and chocolate bars. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Active, they go out for walks and they love cardio. I wasn't burning enough calories, I guess, eating carbs and fat. So I started getting a lot of, fat. Like, I think my depression, anxiety got worse because when I started getting.
Oh, here we go. A woman talking about depression and anxiety.
What's with all these fat bitches taking about building muscle? It's so ironic.
It's full of shit. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
It wasn't helping. And then I found this doctor called Dr. Stacy Sim.
ADHD is not made up. It's a thing. If you meet somebody with severe ADHD, you know they're not neurologically normal. It's like meeting somebody with fucking Asperger's. Like, you know there's something wrong with them.
On YouTube, and she is a specialist, kind of a doctor, talks about, how important muscle is for older women and all that stuff. So I've been listening to her a lot. So I started taking protein powder to meet my protein intake per day. And then I started eating tofu every day. But that was it, you guys. Like, I ate block of tofu and sometimes 2 protein shakes per day. I don't know, you guys. I just felt so like deprived. I told myself, I don't know if I could eat like this forever, because when I was eating carbs, I ate a lot of like noodles and processed bread sometimes, and I would eat a lot of sugar food. I would eat a lot of fruits, and stuff like that. So I don't know. Eating high protein on a vegan diet was pretty hard for me. For some vegans, it's not. They're like, oh my gosh, can't believe you're saying that. Like that's your life. But my life, it was hard. So I've been thinking about it for a while. Like, should I eat meat? Should I not eat meat? A lot, and I discussed it with my husband all the time, with Hungy. What do you think I should do? He's never seen me eat meat. So did some of, a few of my children. They were very little. My parents or the people that are very close, they accommodated for a very long time. I asked myself, why did you go vegan in the first place? Now, that was a big question.
Attention. You're just an attention-seeking idiot. Oh, we're done with that.
Diet. You have to supplement. And beyond the heme, iron, and B12, there's other nutrients that you can only get in animal products. Vitamin A1 comes to mind as well. So the entire...
What the fuck does he mean vitamin A1? There's pro-vitamin A carotenoids. I think he's talking about actual vitamin A. I don't know why that matters. Your body produces vitamin A. By the way, this guy's complaining about fucking supplements. Hasn't this guy literally partnered with fucking supplement companies to sell like the most retarded bullshit? Yeah, Cerule stem cell supplements. And he has a fucking yeah, he has an affiliate link. Let's see. Stem Enhance Ultra. Reverse the signs of aging. This is the stupidest fucking Jesus Christ. Like, actually, Jesus fucking Christ. You want to reverse the signs of aging? Buy growth hormone. Like, this is the dumbest fucking shit. Like, what even is this fucking thing? What's in it? Stem Enhance? Aphanizoman floss aqua concentrate, spirulina extract, undaria. So these are like fucking plant extracts. And then it's claiming this somehow rejuvenates stem cells or something. Buddy, you know how you fucking increase bone mineral density and repair tissue and organs? You take growth hormone. Growth hormone is literally cheaper than this fucking garbage, and it actually works. Like, and there's like this balance and calm whole body inflammation. What's in this fucking stupid thing? Spirulina extract. Literally algae. Oh my god. Some like dumb joint mobility thing. What's in this? More spirulina extract. Apparently spirulina does fucking everything. Tart cherry extract. Oh, weird. Oh, I guess carnivores don't get enough antioxidants in their fucking diet, so they need to supplement antioxidants, otherwise their joints hurt. Like, again, why is this guy fucking harping on about how supplements are a bad thing when you're trying to fucking sell supplements, you fucking idiot? And like, worse off, they're a fucking scam. Like, if you actually cared about fucking helping people with their fucking physical problems, tell them to take drugs! Like, this is so dumb. Oh, this just drives me fucking nuts, dude.
At StylerIm27. ADHD is real. My nanny's grandson had it and he was the most annoying brat ever.
Again, if you meet somebody who actually has ADHD, you will know it and recognize it immediately. They're not neurologically normal, and it's a real thing. I don't know how you've gone through your whole life and not met anybody with ADHD. Yeah, $100 for spirulina extract. Like, oh my god, this guy's literally promoting the biggest scam supplements imaginable, and then vegans have to take B12. Like, okay, fucking idiot. Kid Boo, would you say public gyms were much better before Instagram existed? Well, social media has done some beneficial things for gyms. Equipment has gotten much better. So I think social media has had a big impact on that. So you just have a lot more people who are interested in going to the gym and training seriously. And just because of social media and online reviews and stuff like that, you've got a lot more gyms that are much better equipped. With that said, you also have a lot more fucking broccoli-haired jackasses and women in like weird-ass fucking workout bikinis filming themselves for OnlyFans.
Hold on, what's that right here? Is this meat? Pull that from under there. Hold on, let me see. What's this? What is this here? This meat? Yo, why you got the meat on the floor though?
You're asking this to a Chinese person, dude. I think that's self-explanatory.
Huh? Wait a minute, sir. Wait a minute. We might have to shut y'all down. What the hell? It looks like y'all need a new shaker, though.
Yeah, we'll wipe it down.
Yeah, it looks like y'all need a new shaker. And then I just noticed that you don't got your gloves on. You ain't. Y'all don't put gloves on? Nobody puts gloves on back here? No. Oh, no, that's here. That's a violation, baby. Everybody needs gloves. What is that right there? That's chicken? Yes. I never seen chicken look like that. It looks like hair on it. Is that hair on the chicken? Because that looks like cat. It's not?
I don't know English.
Okay, no, it's okay. You don't have to call no English. Oh, you want to wear your hat backwards. Okay, this is not the street, so you have to turn your hat to the front. Your hat to the front.
The front?
Yeah, front. It's not the streets. Is something playing? Okay, this turn this off. Somebody's watching. Yeah, that's not acceptable. Yeah, we can't be watching anything in the back room. Are you familiar with Rush Hour? Rush Hour? Inspector Lee? Okay, no. I was just gonna say you remind me of him a little bit. Oh man, this toilet.
Is this guy faking being a health inspector and that just happened? He's acting very unprofessionally.
I mean, there's 200 million Muslims living in India. That's the second largest Muslim population in the world. And you're saying that wherever Muslims...
If Muslims become more than 30%, that country is in danger.
That sounds like hatred. That sounds like language of hatred.
It's easy to say hatred.
Why don't you go to fucking Lebanon and see what happened there, dipshit? Oh my god, these fucking bitches. Islamophobia. Okay, go to a Muslim country, get raped.
I'm being kind to them by not letting them come to India.
It's fucking stupid. Thanks, Kid Boo. Dodo, wait VG, listen to her answer that maybe you can put it on 2x speed, but I'd like to hear your response to this video, and I think people in chat too.
Now, that was a big question. And to be honest, you guys, like, a lot of people are vegan because they're like, animal right, and be careful about the animal. I learned a lot about that being vegan because, especially if you're a vegan influencer, a lot of information are thrown to you and you have to be careful. So I've studied and learned a lot, but I went vegan because I wanted to lose weight. That was the pure reason in the beginning.
Yeah, so she was not vegan. By the way, what the fuck does it matter what diet you eat at this point if you want to lose weight? Like, we have drugs that will just make you lose weight. Just take a fucking GLP-1 agonist. Like, why are people even bothering following any particular fucking diet to lose weight? Just take a drug. Like, it's so stupid.
And then I learned that animal right and all that stuff. So there's still a lot of vegan in me, and it's hard to get it out of your brain. Yeah, right now, like I said, my brain is so scattered because this is kind of scary. Like, I bet you this video is going to be, hated by some of the vegans. Like, I can't believe you and all that stuff. Because usually when vegan goes non-vegan, there's bad videos made, towards them and all that stuff. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm not gonna lie. And some of you actually follow me on my Korean channel.
Lies $22. Your wife, yeah, I mean, Respect Muslims. They want to kill you or like force you to pay a jizya, and they think you're lower than animals, but you have to respect Muslims. Yeah, right. Yeah, Connor's based here. His wife is a fucking towel. It's stupid. That's the only way people should deal with Sneeko.
Hey, man.
Hello.
Where you from?
Ohio, you?
Ohio, I'm from New York. Do you like the state of the country?
Not a whole lot. Why?
You don't like Trump?
Not too much, no.
Oh, okay. Your room's kind of messy. You got a lot of stuff in there.
It's not messy and there's not a lot of stuff. You're wrong. You need to get your vision checked.
I can see pretty well.
Probably while you're at it, you got to get your fucking brain checked for psychological disease or something. It's a fucking cardboard box. Why are you excited over a cardboard box? Do you want to fuck it or something, you stupid shit? Dumbass. Get lost, asshole.
What the fuck?
That was fucking hilarious. Look at this big chungus.
Hi everyone, this is Cammie, and our last
That cat's really adorable, but that's animal abuse if you get your cat that fat.
video is going kind of viral, and I just wanted to clear some things up. She doesn't like to be picked up. Cammie has a medical condition that makes it very hard for her to lose weight. And she is a senior cat. She is 15 years old. She has a vet. Her vet says that she is healthy and she's on a vet-approved diet. So please don't make comments.
Okay, whatever. Uber driver, slow, product of incest, probably. There's graphic content in here.
Migrant! Uncle Jeff! Can you go, migrant? Uncle Jeff! Uncle Jeff! Uncle Jeff! Get the fucking... Uncle Jeff! Drive, Uncle! Get it over!
Yeah, that's an old video. I've seen it. Why the fuck would you link me a video where a guy's getting stabbed? What are you, fucking idiot? Sengoku, according to leftist logic of being Islamophobic, aren't they being white nationalist phobic with their ideology? If you recognize that an ideology is a net negative to the world, then isn't prejudice against who hold it warranted? Well, they're retarded. So they have no epistemic standards, and they just make up whatever fucking bullshit to support whatever nonsense they want. Thanks, dude.
I don't understand how that university student from Sri Lanka you debated could defend Muslims knowing they're such a threat to his country, VG.
Yeah. That guy's just dumb. Thanks, Dodo.
I haven't revealed that I'm gonna eat meat on my Korean channel yet, but I know some of you were thinking, oh, you abandoned us. Like I got some comments, oh, you abandoned us and you only care about your Korean viewers. But you know, news like this or something big like this, you know, I'm here. A PTSD in my
Destiny. Jizya was seen as an advance in modern rights. We literally looked up the Wikipedia source he talked about. It had nothing, like, it made no such fucking claims. I don't know where the fuck he got that in his head to say something so stupid. Thanks, though, dude.
My Korean channel is a lot less because a lot of stuff happened to me in my life while I was creating this channel. So I have a lot of PTSD when it comes to this channel. It's like a love and hate relationship kind of thing. I love you guys for supporting me, but I hate the fact that it hurt me once too. Does that make sense? When I was vegan, you guys, I was chasing after losing weight. That's all I did for 14 years. I want to be skinny. I want to be thin. I want to be like other 19, 20-year-old vegans out there who's thin, skinny. That's what I was chasing after, but I am not chasing after that anymore. I've actually gained a couple of pounds after eating meat. It's been like 5 days, I told you, and I haven't stressed. This is very first time in my life gaining a little bit of weight, not stressing. You don't understand. When I'm on vegan diet, every time I gained a little weight, I was under so much stress because that's what I was chasing after. So now, what am I chasing after by eating meat? I really want to become strong. My mind, I think.
Like, just... How in the fuck is eating meat gonna help you lose weight? Like again, if you just look at population averages, vegans have lower rates of obesity. And again, you like if you're just a dumbass eating like fucking potato chips and Oreos all day, you can just take a fucking drug and just lose weight. Like retatrutide, according to the latest human trials, is about as effective as bariatric surgery. So you can just take retatrutide, not make any deliberate dietary changes, and just fucking lose weight. Tons of weight. So why would she even bother going through the effort to change anything when she could just take a very inexpensive fucking drug that you can just buy off the internet? Like, you don't even have to go through the fucking trouble of going to a doctor. You just buy it off the internet, gets delivered directly to your fucking home. You don't have to fucking go through your insurance company, get it approved. Don't have to set up an appointment with a fucking doctor. Try to convince him why you fucking want it or need it, and then go through this fucking like this bullshit where this guy tries to gatekeep you and the drug's kind of dangerous. I don't think you should see it, and then have to go to another doctor, get a second opinion. No, you just order it. It's like $100 a month, and then you just lose weight. And you'd probably save money because food's expensive now. And spending $100 on a weight loss drug when you're going to like cut your fucking food intake in half, you're going to save money spending $100 a month on that fucking drug. Like, it's just like, this is actually a dumb person. Like, Asians are usually smart, but like this chick is actually just fucking dumb. Not just immoral. Like, she's obviously a piece of shit who only cares about herself, but just straight up fucking dumb.
My body, and every strong person around me, they eat meat. I'm just gonna be honest.
You don't know any strong people. You're just a delusional retard. Like, how many... She's been in the vegan space for a while. Like, they just love to act as though I don't exist. Like, Nimai Delgado doesn't exist. Like, there's tons of, like... Patrick Baboumian, like, you fucking name it. There's tons of fucking influencers and small Instagrammers and shit like that that are vegan jacked. They just love to pretend like we don't exist.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't really know that many vegans, live friends. The real close friends that are around me, most of them, or I would say majority of them, eat meat. It was really difficult being vegan, you guys. It was really difficult. 14 years is a long time.
Well, there you go. She was never vegan. She just did it for, like, some weird selfish reasons like weight loss, which would be completely irrelevant at this point. Because of the weight loss drugs, and again, everyone she knows, everyone who's around her, they eat meat, so she just doesn't care.
Sup VG, just ordered 400 IU of growth as I saw it's finally back in stock. Where do you get 30G 1-inch? Special order from your pharmacy? Also this requires your attention, thanks man.
Let me see this.
Why is it always woman VG? Every time Teresa video about someone quitting veganism it's almost always a female. The last time it was a male was what, like Russell Brand like 5 years ago?
The reason it's mostly women is because women are just vapid attention seekers on average. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Wow. They're good friends. You just go to the pharmacy and ask for insulin syringes. They come in either 0.5 ml or 1 ml. For growth hormone, I don't know what dose you're gonna take, but you just go with 1 ml. And the normal sizes are either 30 gauge 8 ml or 31 gauge 6 ml. Those are the most common sizes. I've seen some 29 gauge insulin syringes, but it doesn't matter. Just get a 30 gauge 1 ml insulin syringe or 31 gauge 6 ml insulin syringe. Just go to the pharmacy and ask for them. You don't need them special ordered. They usually have them in stock because there's tons of fucking diabetics everywhere. Walmart, I found, has the best deal on insulin syringes. So try to find a Walmart pharmacy and get syringes from them. Thanks for the donation, though. I am indeed Somalian.
Concept that the vegan diet is the healthiest. On its face, it's totally faulty. Then he says, for 11 years I've had low ferritin, which basically is a store of iron in the body. We continually tried to raise my iron levels with food. Well, apparently not, bro, and supplementation, but nothing would work. We chased the obvious solutions first. A plant-based diet means all my iron is hard to absorb. Yes, non-heme kind. Hard training, sauna, and hyperbaric oxygen all raise the body's demand for iron, but none of them explain the core failure. Despite me taking iron orally, except through the ways that you could actually get the best iron, trailing every formulation and using every timing trick, none of the iron would stick. This is so classic. This guy is supposedly so smart, one of these big brain dudes, and the answer's right in front of him. Eat animal products, but he won't do it, because the science says that they're dangerous and are bad for longevity, which the science does not say that, by the way. That is a scientifically illiterate take. And then we have this video. I designed the perfect anti-aging diet. $16 a day.
Years ago, I sold my company Braintree Venmo for $800 million. I've been spending those millions trying to reduce my speed of aging.
All that money, and you still can't make the correct basic decisions regarding diet.
And I just achieved a personal best, 0.64. That roughly means...
Again, this retard eats literal fucking sludge. So, get fucked, retard. How's that bench press coming along? Still stuck at 315 beta male?
Means that for every 12 months that pass, I only age for 7.6 months.
Okay, something like this is pretty esoteric. How exactly?
It's hard to believe. This creature is in the same group as starfish and sea sponges, creatures that have no brains.
Okay, we're going on a little adventure here.
Octopi are related to starfish and sea sponges?
On this particular day, he reached
Are you
out
sure about
and
that?
held my hand, and he's heading in a direction from where I would normally go. When he headed off, he stopped and turned around. We arrived at the back of the stone, held with two metal stakes, and I thought that was it. Then he moved around one side, and I moved around the other side. It was almost like he went, ta-da, here it is. That's when I saw the photo of the gentleman holding the white fluffy dog. A couple of divers have been building it, and it is actually one of the divers' friend's father in the photo.
Huh. Yeah, octopi are smart. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Exactly do you quantify or define this? You really can't. It's going to be based on some formula, I'm sure, that looks at blood work metrics and a lot of other things like that. I guess if you can get your so-called biological age lower, that's a good thing. But does that have any direct correlation even, much less cause, for you actually living longer? I don't think there's any evidence to support that. But it's a fun theory, I guess.
My team and I have gone through a methodical process over the years. We've gone through all the scientific evidence. We've combed through all the best studies. We've identified what the clinically relevant dose is. We've put that into a program where every calorie has to fight for its life.
So like we've seen so many times, he touts to the science. I would assume we're not going to see any actual science, not even a single paper being referenced here. When it comes to almost every piece of nutrition science that people tout, it is long-term epidemiology, remarkably weak data, confounded beyond belief, food frequency questionnaires. The amount of scientific illiteracy, not only in the fitness industry, the nutrition field, and there's a big overlap between those, of course, even general MDs, it is staggering.
When I wake up, the first thing I do is drink Longevity Mix. This is a drink that my team and I put together because I was taking over 100 pills a day. We put all of the good tasting pills in this powder, and we took all the bad tasting pills and we put it into other pills.
Okay, here's a list of the ingredients in this Longevity Mix. We have pea protein isolate, so you get some protein, 26 grams, which you're not going to actually absorb 26 grams, given that it's a plant form. I think the pea protein absorption rate's decent, though. Omega-3, ALA, which is the plant form, yet again, far, far less bioavailable than the animal forms, EPA and DHA.
He doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. That has nothing to do with bioavailability. He's talking about conversion rates. He doesn't even know what fucking terms he's using. Dodo, don't tell others, watch this, read comments.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good, how you doing? What you got?
So I'm trying to see if maybe we can work something out.
What you need?
I have a bunch of these. I had a guy that I sent it, to Texas, but
Yeah.
I gotta do it. If I can do it locally, you're only a half an hour for me.
Yeah. I'm guessing they all need screens for the most part?
For the most part. I literally just got an approval that some of them are locked because I work with a company. But that shouldn't deter from fixing
the screens, yeah.
That's for the most part. That's the real one. That's the real one. Some of them I fixed, but I didn't fix good. I don't know if it pays for you to try to
Double check it, yeah. Another crack screen.
Question: I do have a continuous potential, stream to give you well.
Yeah.
And I do watch YouTube. That's why I'm here.
That's awesome.
But
It looks like they're all the same model, but let me just double check.
These I don't know if it pays. I have a bunch of these.
The Samsung tablets. I'll take a look, but most of the time they're not really worth.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that like before this, most of my family is in IT.
Yeah.
So before when they started with this company, they didn't control stuff. So it was like the teachers or whatever it was. So it could be it's locked to like a teacher's email or something.
Yeah,
so if it's something that it works on, then great. If not, then it's garbage.
Yeah.
My dad bought steroids because he watched your streams and you recommended it. He says the steroids gave him high blood pressure, hair thinning, irritability and unstable mood, testicular atrophy, acne etc. To say he is furious at you is an understatement.
Well, he's a retard. First of all, I don't know what the fuck he was taking. I always recommend people just start with testosterone and start at a low dose. And, some people might get a blood pressure increase even on like 20 milligrams a day. Usually that's just transient. So you have to wait like a couple weeks to see how your blood pressure changes. But again, if it doesn't change, then you got to get blood work, see what your estrogen levels are like. And then you might have to control aromatization. You might be a hyperaromatizer. I've talked about all this. So like if this guy's too stupid to... Like if this guy's just going to use fucking steroids because I'm taking him, he's just a fucking idiot. And yeah, look at like research, find out how to use them. You can ask me. Yeah, just going on steroids, taking whatever fucking dose, and then getting mad because you got side effects. Like, you're an idiot. Thanks for that donation, Raj.
I can't really bypass like activation locks and stuff, so yeah, it's not even worth it. Yeah, unfortunately.
Probably just chuck it.
Oh, you already have all the digitizers for them?
I don't have all of them, but I have.
You have some of them. Yeah.
I was gonna buy more, but I was like,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I have 3. This is a screen.
Okay, perfect. Oh, there's the actual LCD.
Screen, yeah, LCD. Yeah,
all right, so we got 10 right here, and then what's up with these other ones?
So here, so this is a bunch of again, whatever it is. I guess you're gonna have to actually just label it whatever you can. I don't know if I did the job or not, or whatever. Tell me which one I did.
Good. Slight crack on that one. That one looks good though. This one looks fine. This one looks fine.
Just another test of the buttons if I did anything.
This one's a little off.
Yeah. The question is really what I'm looking at.
I mean, since you have so many. Okay.
So I just want to. Okay. So I guess it's not worth it.
Yeah.
All right. I apologize.
No worries. Appreciate you bringing it in.
Yeah. Gotta give it a shot. It was close enough to try.
Yeah, it's got to be worth my time too, because I already have like 400 devices in store.
You don't have to explain it to me. But I see. I don't blame you. I got you.
Well, I appreciate you again bringing it in.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Why did you send me this? Okay, thanks. That was boring and pointless. I appreciate that.
Eating with food always helps to lessen GI and other side effects.
Well, so much for that GI side effect.
Oh, read comments. How about just read comments? No stereotypes were harmed in this video. Discount was promised to him 2,000 years ago. Who fucking cares, dude? That was just such a waste of time.
Effects, huh? Your stomach is eating itself now.
I'll work out for an hour, and then it's time for my favorite breakfast.
I do human growth hormone intramuscularly. I've tried both. I did sub-Q for a while, for like, I think 2 months. And then I switched back to IM. I prefer IM for a few reasons. One, it does make me sleep better. It just kind of knocks me out faster compared to sub-Q. So I get more of the sleep benefit. Two, I notice when I inject IM, I don't know if it has, like, it it does absorb into your system slower when you do sub Q, and I noticed that like weird kind of elevated euphoric high feeling you get on HGH, and that kind of tiredness. I would have that more throughout the day, like sometimes all fucking day long when I injected IM. And it was just annoying. So I had more drowsiness during the day, and it's just weird and uncomfortable being in like that weird kind of elevated state. Like it's nice before you're going to bed. Like HGH does give you this really nice feeling of warm wellness, but when it's like really elevated all day long and you're kind of drowsy, I just didn't like it. And I also didn't notice any difference with like anabolism. I didn't grow any faster. And it's not like I lost fat any faster or anything. So like I didn't notice any difference when it came to stuff that I really cared about, like just building muscle. And it's the intramuscular is also better for sleep, at least for me. And again, the IM, it just gave me some, effects that I didn't really like. So I just stick to IM now.
Which is super veggie. This is freshly made with broccoli, cauliflower, black lentils, garlic, ginger, hemp seeds, and 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil.
So this is rabbit food.
Lately, I've added 50 grams of carrots.
That is really rabbit food.
I've also been adding an avocado for healthy fats.
And there it is, healthy fats. A phrase that is said incessantly, but the amount of people that actually know what that means, very, very low. As I just talked about, omega-3, his supplement has ALA in it, not EPA or DHA, the actual forms that our bodies need and can reliably use. Avocado, I think, is fine. I'm not going to complain about it.
With every meal, I have 1 tablespoon or 15 ml of extra virgin olive oil. At 11 a.m., I'll have nutty pudding, including the berry and nut mix. It has 26 grams of protein. I'll also add 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. I like it stirred in.
And that is the end of this video. The rest of it is more of a sales pitch for his supplement line. A 4-ounce steak, or 4 ounces of beef, or a few eggs. Far, far more nutrient dense than any amount of vegetables. This is the best we could come up with. Well, that was a complete flop. This video is called How to Live Longer Than 99% of Humanity. Let's see if this one's any better.
Today, we're going to talk about the 3 power laws of health. I'm not going to get into the scientific details. I'm just going to tell you what to do.
And imagine that, not going to get into the scientific details. It's because he doesn't know any.
You're going to reframe your identity that you are a professional sleeper.
And that does sound great. But with that said, so many of us are still walking zombies. And are you tired of that? Because I definitely wasn't myself. Waking up at 3 in the morning, unable to fall back asleep, never fully hitting deep sleep. I've had plenty of days where I wake up, and then by 11 a.m. or noon, I'm groggy, wanting to take a nap. There's been nights I've driven to the gym and napped in my car before scanning in. Poor sleep can handicap every aspect of your life. But I just learned this about sleep, and it's something that I've really not heard anyone talk about, because poor sleep is not simply about lights or screens or even some noise outside, and those can affect it, of course, but the root cause is the nervous system, specifically the vagus nerve. And this activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which controls cortisol, improves HRV, heart rate variability, and puts the body into a rest and digest state. But if our vagus nerve is not properly stimulated, we cannot enter deep sleep, even in the middle of the night, and even in bed. So I looked into this more and dug deeper, and then I discovered this device, Pulsetto. This is a vagus nerve stimulator, and I was definitely skeptical, but since trying this thing out, I can say that it is a cheat code for putting my mind and body at ease. And I like to use it every night before I go to bed, and it's very simple.
Bro. This guy is something fucking else. Really something else. He'll complain about vegans like taking vitamin B12 and shit, but he will shill the most garbage, useless, bullshit, overpriced fucking products that don't do fuck all for anyone, just for money. But vegans take B12. Here's like 10 different supplements that contain algae that claim to all do different things that cost over $100. Here's a fucking thing that you put on your neck that, like, makes you fall asleep for some reason. Fuck this. Like, what a fucking broccoli-haired fucking retard.
Or when your show is done, or when you're finished playing with your friends. You are going to set a bedtime and meet that bedtime every single day.
Okay, so broadly, yes, I think we all know the importance of sleep loosely.
Yeah, I was skeptical until they paid me. Jeez. You're worse than a son. You just play a video and then stare at your other monitor the whole time, typing to someone, completely ignoring whatever's going on in the video comment section on your donations. It's like you don't want viewers or money. I have stuff going on. Okay, shut up. Thanks for the donation.
Speaking, a lot of people are not going to be able to have a strict bedtime they hit every single night. A lot of people are not going to be able to get 8 hours, whether it's the neighborhood they live in, whether it's children. Some people have to work given shifts that throw off this circadian rhythm. There's so many factors. You can't really compare your circumstance as a general person working a normal job, just getting by in life, to a guy like this who is basically a wealthy longevity vampire. And even then, you can look at this guy's face and see the nutrient deficiencies. Looks like some makeup on his face, maybe even. You see his eyes, though. He's got the panda eyes going. Some bags. It's kind of gray right there. You see that in vegans very commonly.
There's 5 things I want you to do. Number 1 is eat earlier and lighter in the day. So for example, if your bedtime's at 10 p.m., have your last meal of the day at 8 p.m., and then try 7, and then 6, and then 5, and try pushing it back earlier and earlier, and watch your sleep improve.
That sounds good in theory. It's a possibility. Some people, though, if they eat very early, they're going to be hungrier around bedtime.
Is Primal Fitness Jewish? You mean Revival Fitness, the guy we're watching? I don't think so. I think he's like Italian or something. I have no fucking clue, though. Thanks for the donation.
And that can affect sleep as well. I mean, some people, if you have like a decent size...
Who the fuck cares?
You can't just work up until the last minute. When you feel well, you're going to want to also exercise, which you also know from life experience. When you exercise, you feel great. So now you're going to start an exercise protocol if you haven't already, and you're going to do 2 simple things. Every day, do 30 minutes of exercise.
Okay, we'll see what he says. That's very vague. There's a lot of ways to exercise.
That can be something like swimming, running, biking, hiking. It could be strength training.
If you're doing lighter stuff that's not that intensive on recovery, yeah, I can't complain about that. Just keep in mind, if you're doing serious resistance training, like you want to build a lot of muscle, get very strong, training every single day, probably not a good idea. And I've had so many guys do my programs 3-4 days a week. That's it. About 75-90 minutes in the gym each time. And they make crazy progress. You can find plenty of...
Yeah, maybe there's a reason why this guy can't bench past 315 pounds. Because you're only training 3-4 days a week, and your sessions are only about an hour, hour and a half. So, yeah, that explains a lot, doesn't it? Oh, vegans are malnourished, they're deficient, oh, I can't train more than 3 or 4 days a week for more than an hour at a time, or else it just exhausts me too much, and I don't feel good. I can't bench over 315. These vegans who look like shit and look like they're aging like an avocado, they're stronger than me, but they eat like shit. Fucking loser.
You have testimonials on my site.
Get up from my desk, whether I'm standing or sitting.
I am a big fan of the standing desk. You cannot tell, but I am using one right now. I have for a number of years now. It's an easy way to expend more energy during the day without really changing anything else. You can even put a treadmill or a walking pad or a...
I've got a standing desk. I've only used it a few times standing during streams. It's just fucking weird, especially on stream when you're trying to like be centered on a camera. It's a little strange. It's also like it for my height. I don't know if it goes up quite high enough. Like I'm 6'3". I do have an adjustable monitor and everything, but again, switching the camera and the monitor each time I fucking move the desk for standing up, it's kind of just a pain in the ass.
Bike or something underneath that as well. If you're looking to get more cardio in, do it while you work. If you have a job in an environment to where you're able to do that, I think it's a no-brainer.
Soothe, and it's also a source of addiction and all sorts of emotional problems. Correct! Try to never rely upon your willpower. If you have a particular risk zone, let's just say it's 7 p.m. that's exposed to, let's just call it cookies, because if you wait to make the decision at that moment, you will certainly eat the cookie.
That is a valid point, even though it's controversial in the fitness industry, because everything is framed as just willpower. Most people cannot do that. Most people are going to fail. Even if they're good for maybe a few days or a week or even maybe a month for some people, they can last that long. They're inevitably going to crumble because the cravings get the better of them, and maybe they restrict a lot, and then they go into the binge and purge cycle, all this stuff, right? So you want to get your diet to a point where you have the nutrient densities taken care of, you have the total amount is allotted for. There are some tips, though, that I think can really help you avoid the late night cravings. And if you are reducing the food intake, they can alleviate the hunger far beyond simply guzzling Diet Coke all day, which is what 99% of people in the fitness industry do. They just guzzle their diet soda all day long to try to curb their hunger because they're not actually curbing it. They're craving sweetness all the time, but they can replace sugar with the sweeteners, which is better ultimately. but it's still a band-aid on the bullet wound. It's putting lipstick on a pig. The goal is to get to a point where your cravings for whatever type of junk food that you like, you can get them diminished entirely.
It's called GLP-1 agonists. Again, you have choices, 3 different choices now. You can take semaglutide, tirzepatide, or retatrutide. Not only do those drugs reduce your appetite, they absolutely will reduce your cravings. So use drugs. I don't know why that's a taboo. Use drugs. What is the point?
Or reduced a lot. You can walk by the sweets in the grocery store, not sit there and shake looking at them. You can open up your app and not order a bunch of food, even if it is at a discount. You can just see the food that would throw you off in the past and be like, I'm fine. And it can take a lot of work.
Like, by the way, I don't totally agree with the sentiment that Brian Johnson has, like, don't rely on willpower. Like, you do need to fucking work on willpower. You should develop discipline over time. And you do that by, again, exercising willpower. Like, there's always going to be temptations for things. But, like, the better you get at discipline and exercising your willpower, the easier it is and the less you'll really have to rely on it. And then it just becomes routine. And, like, it doesn't frustrate you.
To get to that point. And if you want to learn much more about diet in very deep detail, see the actual...
This guy eats like absolute fucking garbage, so yeah, don't listen to anything this guy says about fucking diet. He's just a fucking retard.
Now, I'll tell you from my personal experience, this is impossibly hard to do. Of course, any one of us can say it, but we all know that we just can't control ourselves in those moments.
This goes back to what I just said. You have to get the diet to a point where you're not craving the junk, and you're not tempted continually, and you're not always hungry. Because hunger is not simply about how much you're eating overall. Because if you're cutting a lot, reducing the food, you're likely going to be more hungry simply because you do that. But the overall composition of the diet also has a massive impact on your overall hunger. Because plenty of people, even if they're bulking, a lot of them are just fat to begin with, tons of energy reserves on their body, they're still hungry all the time.
I had to basically make a rule of my existence that I, as a human, do not consume food between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m., no matter what I say.
That is one way you can make this work. It's a form of time-restricted eating.
And so systems far exceed willpower.
He's absolutely right about that.
3 is a Mediterranean-like diet.
Okay, here's where the bullshit's really going to flow.
You want to try to have, healthy fats.
There we go again, healthy fats. He has no idea what that means.
Healthy proteins.
The Mediterranean has many places. My heritage is Mediterranean. Italians eat tons of animal products. So do the Greeks. Go down the list. These are very animal-heavy diets in so many regions of the Mediterranean. But for some reason, people have this idea that the Mediterranean diet, there's always olive oil, and then they'll say some nuts and seeds, a little bit of fish for the omega-3. They'll give you that, but she's not even going to have the fish in this context. But this idea that the so-called Mediterranean diet, well, one, like I said, it doesn't even exist, because it's such a vague concept.
It's not a vague concept. It's just a general dietary pattern for people who live around the Mediterranean. Again, when people say, standard Western diet, you know what they mean. Yeah, plenty of people eat differently, but again, it's just a generalized pattern of eating. And the Mediterranean diet concept, again, this is being defined in literature. So what he's even saying doesn't make any fucking sense. What was it? There's the, it's at the tip of my fucking tongue. What was the Leon Hart trial? Again, you can look up studies like the Leon Hart trial where they define it very specifically. So what he's saying doesn't even fucking make any sense. And again, it's just a diet that's low in saturated fat, higher in poly and monounsaturated fats, rich in olive oil.
Thoughts on Eric Spugenhagen getting injured more frequently? Also, what do you think he's on?
Well, he's stronger. The stronger you are, the more likely you are to get injured. It's just the way it is. So, that's normal for everybody. When you first start training, you're not going to get injured because you're not strong enough to hurt yourself. Once you get really fucking strong, you have to be very careful, and yeah, it's going to happen fairly frequently. I don't even think it's an age thing at this point. And what do I think he's on? I do think he is enhanced. I think he did go enhanced at some point. I really wouldn't be able to tell you exactly what he's on. Like everybody, like there's standard protocols now. Like everybody uses test. That's going to be in every cycle. But who the fuck knows? I don't know. Like everybody has their drug of choice and their own strategies. Some people like running high test, a little bit of sprinkle on top. Some people like running lower test and then relying on like Primo, Masteron, whatever. Everybody has their own kind of preferences. It has to do with just the side effects of the drugs, how they make you feel, the results that you like from them. But, you know, everybody who's on gear, they're going to be running a test base and then something else. Thanks for the donation, though, Essex Man.
Concept. There's so many regions there. But even beyond that, the idea that it would be so low on animal products, it's totally nonsensical. It's yet another thing that does not add up, but so many people just parrot it and say it over and over. And oh, a given study found that the Mediterranean diet lowers risk of XYZ by this percentage. It's a bunch of bullshit. Okay, here's some very brief clips of him working out. We got the sled drag, some face pulls, barbell curls like a good bro, and the squat rack too, but it is his. Got some chin-ups here, static lunges, bench press. That bar path is a train wreck, my guy. You want to press it closer toward your face,
Starting
not away
Rita
from
tomorrow,
it, but the weight is so
2
light, I guess it's not gonna
milligrams
be a
twice
concern.
a week.
Here he is on.
Thanks again. What to expect?
When you first start, there's a good chance you might have some nausea. I convinced Isaac to start retatrutide. He had some pretty bad nausea the first time he injected. It resolved after, I think, like a couple days, where like just here and there he had some mild nausea. But after the first week, it was pretty much fine. I had a similar experience, not quite as bad. Like, yeah, just when you first start, you're probably going to experience some nausea, but it goes away over time as your body just adjusts and gets used to it. I would also recommend making sure, like, even if you really, really don't feel like eating, make sure you have some foods that have fiber that'll produce large bowel masses. So some people get extreme appetite suppression where they literally will not eat the whole day. Like, just force yourself to eat something and make sure you drink water, because if you don't, you can cause basically gastric stasis, where you have a stool that's like stuck in your stomach. So like have like a couple apples or something, and just like force yourself to eat some fruits and vegetables just to produce a large bowel mass, and make sure you drink water. So if you do have like really, really hardcore extreme appetite suppression on it, even at the low dose, just make sure you eat something. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Some people do get like weird digestive symptoms, like, you know, diarrhea or bloating. You might just want to have Pepto-Bismol on hand just in case. But yeah, that's basically it. Otherwise, yeah, that drug's fucking awesome. Really, it's really potent at lowering cholesterol. When I was on the 2 milligram dose, my LDL score dropped by 20 points. It also improves insulin sensitivity. Your HbA1c will probably go down. And there's very good evidence the GLP-1 agonists actually cause joint remodeling. So if you have arthritis, it's probably good for you. They also just reduce systemic inflammation. They're fucking great. They're literally a drug that just makes you live longer and be healthier. Like, pretty much everyone should be on them at some kind of dose. Not everybody needs the weight loss effects of them, but they do have metabolic benefits. So, like, vast majority of people should be on them. Thanks for the donation, though, Alan.
On the bike as well. And then lastly, we have a video from 2025, his full longevity protocol. The thumbnail says live to 200 plus. I don't think that's going to happen.
I hired a team of 30 medical professionals. We measured the biological age of every one of my organs, and then we applied the very best science ever done on health span and lifespan. It's worked. I now have the best biomarkers of anybody in the world.
How the hell did you determine that?
I am the healthiest person on planet Earth.
Yet again, how the hell did you determine that? And apparently not based on the recent information.
I'm asleep by 8:30 p.m., and I naturally wake around 5 a.m., never using an alarm. The very first thing I do when I wake up is I get 10,000 lux light into my eyes for 3 to 4 minutes.
Well, that's interesting, but especially given how much money you have, can't you get a patio and go outside to get the sunlight? I guess if it's too early or depending on the...
Yeah, sunlight burns your skin, dumbass. Notice how this guy looks white enough to piss milk? Do you think it's a good idea for him to be out in the sun and literally roast his fucking skin, you fucking idiot?
A time of year. The sun's not fully up yet. So I understand it from that sense, but artificial light, some people would say that's a negative.
As I'm sitting there, I'll take my inner ear temperature, as my body temperature has dropped 5 degrees Fahrenheit over the past few years.
Do you remember whenever you got sick as a kid and your mom had to stick that in your ear? You'd be like, come on.
I'll do a breathing exercise or meditation for 5 minutes to get my mind and body set for the day. Then I'll consume an 8-ounce drink consisting of Blueprint Longevity Mix, collagen peptides, creatine, and some prebiotics. Next, I'll work out for 60 to 90 minutes. I will focus on strength, cardio, flexibility, and balance. Next, for breakfast, I will have Blueprint Longevity Protein and Berry Nut Mix, collagen peptides, extra virgin olive oil, and 100% pure cacao.
Okay, so I guess the only thing that's really changed from the last diet video we saw, he's adding collagen peptides now. I don't know if he's using actual collagen or so-called plant collagen.
It's actual collagen. He's not, like, actually vegan. There are vegan collagen peptides. I don't know why the fuck he doesn't just take that.
Which is all formulated, again, to mimic animal products, basically. But if he's using animal...
Well, they're not just mimicking animal products. It literally is the exact same thing. You can, it's like recombinant growth hormone. You just get bacteria to make the exact protein strand that's in human growth hormone. So it's the same thing. So that's how they make the vegan collagen peptides. Like that's how they make all peptides. They basically just get bacteria. I think some of them you don't need bacteria to actually make them, but it's the same fucking thing.
Animal collagen, at least that's one step in the right direction.
Note that I am plant-based by choice, excluding the collagen peptides.
Okay, so the peptides are...
I'm like, this is one of those weird things. Like, if you look at the collagen peptide research, there's like practically no indication that it fucking does anything. It's kind of weird to me that he's even bothering using it. I'm assuming it's just because there's some evidence of benefit and there's basically no chance of harm, so he's just doing it for that reason. But like, he's rich too. Like, I'd just save my money and not fucking bother. Like, if you look at steroid research, like, there's steroids like boldenone that massively fucking increase collagen synthesis like fucking crazy. Boldenone increases collagen synthesis by, I think, 340% at a dose of about 200 milligrams per day. I think that dose is too high for most people. I only take 105 milligrams of boldenone, but again, assuming it scales fairly linearly, like you're getting about 150, 170% increase in collagen production just from taking boldenone. And on top of that, like, there's growth hormone that ramps up collagen synthesis. I just don't know what the fucking collagen peptides are going to fucking do for you. Like, we literally have drugs that massively boost collagen synthesis by hundreds of %. So, like, why the fuck would you even bother?
Animal-based, so he's not completely vegan.
With a few dozen pills. After breakfast, I will squeeze in a few additional therapies.
Oh man, okay, looks like we're doing, I guess, DRT. I believe I've heard this guy discuss...
Dude, what the fuck kind of needle and syringe is that? This looks like a 3 ml syringe. Why? For such a tiny fucking injection?
Gus being on testosterone replacement. I don't know his exact dosing here.
Daily, I do red and near-infrared light therapy, 6 minutes a day.
Fucking TRT is base, dude.
Currently, I have 2 additional therapies. One is hyperbaric oxygen therapy.
This is one of the most rich person things I've ever seen.
And second is focused shockwave therapy.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Which I'm doing for my entire body, first in world. Next, I will jump into the shower, wash my face.
Okay, given that he's so obsessed with health and longevity, I would assume he's got filters, like the sink, the shower, all this other stuff. If he doesn't, that's a glaring error.
Here we go. Another, Amazon affiliate link. The water's killing you. Buy the filter. Oh no, there's chemicals in the water that you can't see, but they're killing you. Buy the filter.
In the entire context.
I get 5% from the sale. Trust me, there's tiny little chemicals everywhere. They're coming after you.
To what he's trying to achieve.
And do a 10-minute walk in the sun. It feels fantastic on my skin. Now, I'm mindful of the time I'm out when the UV index is low, where I still get the stimulation and benefits of the sun, but without the damage.
Okay, so in terms of the sun,
You know what else? Melanotan is fucking sick. I actually really like melanotan. I think I have the right type of skin tone where I get an even tan from it. I think my skin's looked better since like people have given me compliments. And it actually helps you sleep. I do get some sleep benefits from it, and it gives you fucking great erections. Like at least melanotan 2. Melanotan 1 doesn't give you erections, but melanotan 2 does. It's pretty fucking dope.
You want to get the UVB rays, and they're, from what I've seen, most active at about 10 a.m. to maybe 2.
Yeah, get the UVB rays to give yourself skin cancer and get wrinkles earlier. Good idea. Yeah, take this guy's advice. This fucking jackass.
p.m. and he's out at 7, 8 in the morning, so that's not really close to that window. I've heard people say that he avoids the sun, where he gets very minimal exposure, but I would not avoid the sun. I know there's a lot of classic theories. Don't go in the sun, you know, skin cancer, it's damaging. That's very outdated. A lot of that was a ploy to sell sunscreen. And of course, if you live in a place that has a lot of overcast days, rainy days, and then the winter comes too, you want to probably be taking vitamin D. I think it's a smart idea to do that. If you want to learn much more about many supplements in detail, be sure to check out this video. It's a full guide on a lot of popular supplements.
I will have my next meal of the day, typically something like Super Veggie, which is a mixture of lentils, broccoli, cauliflower, mushrooms, hemp seeds, garlic, and ginger.
He's looking pretty pale. His skin's looking sort of gaunt. I know he's on the leaner side, which does affect it, but common side effect of veganism, again, just the overall lack of glow to the skin. The collagen is oftentimes very low, the nutrient deficiencies, even with all the supplements and everything he's taking, you simply cannot replace a legitimately nutrient-dense diet consisting of animal products. I think you can tell he's aging in the past few years based on the content we've watched here.
Oh, somebody's aging over years? That's unusual. Like, normally, people stay the same age. He's older as time progresses? What's going on? What the fuck is he talking about? Like, I saw this guy 4 years ago, and he looks older now. Duh! Like, oh my god, he's so fucking stupid. It's unreal. By the way, this, like, how long has this fucking jackass been on YouTube? Like, yeah, 8 years ago. Oh, he's aging? Wait, he looks younger 8 years ago. His diet must suck. What's going on? Like,
alone. And this guy, I would imagine, is getting all kinds of treatments
what
done.
A fucking
not simply
dumbass.
For the biological age and all this other stuff, the longevity. I would bet he's getting done a lot of beauty treatments too, like skin tightening and God knows what else, maybe Botox. Probably doesn't talk about.
I don't think he's ever mentioned anything like Botox. He's probably taking peptides and stuff for his skin, like GHKCU. I think he's fucked around with that. I was actually looking into getting some peptide creams for collagen synthesis for like joints and stuff. They do make collagen peptides creams for your skin. So like GHKCU and stuff, it's probably a good idea to do that. But like, especially if you're older. But yeah, like, what is the problem with using drugs in modern medicine to like not age? Like what, like again, this guy sells a fucking supplement that's marketed as like rejuvenating stem cells and repairing your body. And then he's acting as if it's a fucking taboo that this guy's taking drugs and using modern medicine to like fucking do the same thing. Like the hypocrisy. Oh, it's okay if you use a supplement that doesn't work, but if you use a drug that actually works, oh, you're a loser or something. Bro, this guy's like just fucking jealous that he's like rich and can do whatever the fuck he wants.
About that, which I understand, but you can tell just in this video, he is definitely aging, just visually.
Every 30 minutes, I'll do roughly 5 minutes of light activities, such as walking or bodyweight exercises, stretching. An hour and a half or 2 hours later, I will have my final meal of the day, which will be some combination of veggies, nuts, seeds, and berries. For example, I might have a stuffed sweet potato with avocado, tomatoes, chickpeas, with a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil.
These type of guys always with the olive oil. Gotta put olive oil on everything. Healthy fats, bro.
My daily caloric intake is 2,250 calories, which is made up of 25% protein, 35% carbs, and 40% fat.
That's a pretty high percentage of fat, especially in the context of a vegan diet.
I will get back into work, and as I did before,
I mean, not exactly. Like there's nuts and seeds and oils. Like it's easy to get plenty of fat.
For every 30 minutes or so, I will do 5 minutes of light activity.
Dude, these little...
I am actually a little surprised that his diet is 40% fat. My diet's pretty fucking low in fat. Especially now that I'm on steroids, like I used to have to eat a lot more fat, like deliberately, because I'd undereat it and I wouldn't feel great. Now that I'm on steroids, like it doesn't affect you hormonally, so you can you can be much more flexible with your your macronutrient intake, and it just makes it that much easier to fucking stay lean and shit.
Little shrug things he's doing are just so funny. The weight is so light. Maybe it's more of like a mobility, little engagement type of thing. Posturally, that's probably what he's going for. At least I would hope so.
Which helps with blood flow, awaken my mind, and keep my body loose and flexible.
All right, Brian, since you brought this on yourself here, I gotta note it. You have sloped shoulders. Uneven here. Your right shoulder is down more so than the left. It's imbalanced. Fix it. Also, too, this guy has a blocky waist, doesn't he? He's got visible abs. He's lean. He looks good overall, but man, built like a rectangle. Okay, so we've seen enough here. I mean, it's very interesting, if nothing else. I would like to see, how long he actually ends up living. I give him credit for at least trying this out and documenting the process, but as we've seen so many times, he touted the science repeatedly, never showed us any, in terms of simple logic and basic knowledge.
I don't know what the fuck he means by that. Like if you just follow his YouTube channel, Instagram, like this guy's a fucking idiot.
Of nutrition, he failed on that front, and now in 2026...
Show me how in any fucking way this guy's diet is related to any nutritional deficiency he has. It's not. So you're just making shit up. And again, this fucking weird I didn't notice this before. Dude, this guy looks like fucking Mario. Especially with his big ass fucking nose. Yeah, dude, this guy's fucking Mario. Shouldn't you be, like, eating a little bit more pasta there, Mario? What does this guy have a problem with the Mediterranean diet? Aren't you supposed to be fucking Italian? Fucking dork.
He is facing the ramifications of those decisions, whether he can realize it or not. He can try to say, oh, I was young and ate junk food, and I was stressed out 10, 15 years ago, whatever. I don't know if he's ever going to accept that, and that could also be egoically. Can he mentally accept that he was wrong? Or is he just that stubborn? Is he getting that bad of information? It could be...
Oh, I literally cannot take this guy seriously at all anymore. He's, like, literally, all I see is fucking Mario. I just keep thinking, whoa!
Party, people started to view Ukraine as the place where billions of our taxpayer dollars were sent, and then this...
Yeah, Mario eats fucking mushrooms. Like, fuck this guy.
This theory, whether it's a conspiracy theory or not, spread very rapidly in the United States that the way that the Democrats were getting elected was that the billions of dollars of taxpayer money was being sent to Ukraine, and then it was being sent back to the United States to support the campaigns of Democrat politicians. I'm sure you've heard this before.
A lot of what you're saying, you've admitted, has been at least propagated by Russians.
Yes.
The Russian government, RT, various covert influence campaigns in the US, for example, Tenet Media, which paid a lot of conservative influencers.
Yeah, conservative influencers, $10 million. I mean, I know a lot of the people that were paid the money.
Exactly. So do you think your kind of mea culpa, your change of heart, because you believe some, pretty strange things about Ukraine in the past, right?
Yeah, I thought your president was a fake Jew. Right? I said, oh my God, how can any Jew support Nazis? And obviously I'm Jewish. And I bought this in Ukraine. So it's proof that it's not a country full of Nazis. A really nice Ukrainian Orthodox woman sold it to me outside the church around the corner. So this is, I guess, my living proof that it's not a country run by Nazis, because I bought a Magen David here. So, but I really did believe these things. And looking back, I really probably should have had some better judgment. But, people have to understand the political dynamic in the United States, because some people may think, well, this doesn't make any sense at all. I have no idea how she could believe these things. This just sounds ridiculous. She's making it up. There were some Kremlin propagandist who pretends to be Ukrainian, who is on social media, who spread a conspiracy theory saying that I was paid.
Yeah, there's that chick who literally faked a Russian accent and said she was, I think she pretended to be Ukrainian. She didn't even do the Ukrainian accent properly. And a bunch of media figures like Tucker Carlson believed her horseshit. It turned out she was an American servicewoman. I think she worked for the Navy or Coast Guard or something. And she had never even been to Europe, period. There's some crazy ass fucking people who are just spreading Russian propaganda.
$2 million.
And again, fucktards like this bought into it.
By the Ukrainian, I'm sure you've seen it, $2 million by the Ukrainian government. And then your Center for Disinformation that I visited told me that they've identified this individual as somebody who's actually paid by the Kremlin. And so the Russians are very good at pushing out conspiracy theories, pushing out propaganda. And there's already people now in America that are commenting under my post, oh, you're a sellout, I'm unfollowing you because you're paid $2 million by the Ukrainian government. I was not paid by anybody to come here.
You were at the McDonald's in Lukyanivka, which is, been heavily bombed. That area has been absolutely smashed by Russian ballistic missiles. The only defense that Ukraine has against those ballistic missiles are American-made PAC-3 Patriots. And I saw on X that you were advocating for more Patriot PAC-3s to be sent to Ukraine. And that's a massive change from where you were before. And would you support President Trump bringing a new supplemental aid bill to supply Ukraine with these weapons that they desperately need to protect their city?
So here's a problem, right? So there's a difference between what we would like and what's realistic. Now, one of the reasons why the Ukraine issue became such a heated political topic in the United States is because during the Biden presidency, he allowed our country to be invaded, right? We had 25 million illegal aliens who came into our country under Joe Biden. And as a result, right, of the Ukraine-Russia war, Joe Biden not only signed off on sending over, well, now it's at 200 billion, right? 200 billion US dollars in aid has been sent in support of the Ukraine war. But he also depleted our ammunition and our artillery and our
There's anybody who says, "Oh, this is depleting our munitions and artillery," they're just fucking retarded. You can make more munitions, and again, especially when you're talking about rockets, for instance, rocket fuel only lasts so long. So what happens is if you make a huge abundance of rockets that you don't use, then they have to be disposed of, and disposing of those rockets is more expensive than even making them. So it just wastes money. So there's a stockpile of munitions that is made for, what we expect to be needing to use for at any given time period. And we'll use that up, and then when we need more, we make more. Otherwise, if you just make a fuck ton of these munitions, and then you don't end up using them, you end up wasting fucking money. So again, bullets, rockets, explosives, they're not a finite resource. You can make more.
Our Patriot missile supply, and he gave a lot of our weapons to Ukraine.
But a lot of that money was invested in U.S. defense concerns,
true,
right? To replace
but I just want to
older...
explain where we are right now. So we gave a lot of our supply, our stock, to the Ukrainians in support of them in their defense. Then now with Donald Trump back in office, we have the Iran war, and we have significantly depleted our Patriot missile supply.
Again, when you say that stupid shit makes no fucking sense. So the best analogy I can make is, let's say you just, a normal fucking person, you go to the gas station to fill up your car with gas. When you need to get gas, you just go to the gas station, you fill up your car with gas. Well, if I don't know, if your buddy takes your car out and then the gas is near empty, do you say, you depleted all the gas? Like no, you just go to the gas station and get more gas. Like nobody like goes to the gas station, brings like fucking like 100 jerry cans, fills up those jerry cans, and then like stores them in their fucking shed for like months or years. The gas goes bad. There's no reason to do that. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So you get the amount of gas that you believe you're going to use, with normal use of your fucking car, and you don't just stockpile gas and then if somebody uses up your gas, oh my god, the gas is gone. What am I gonna do? Well, you go to the fucking gas station and get more gas. I don't know where this fucking idea came from. It's so stupid.
And as you know, you can't just pop these things out like babies, right? I mean, it takes twice the amount of time that it takes to conceive a human child it takes to make a Patriot missile. So it takes 18 months to make these missiles, and each one.
I think that's an over-exaggeration. It does take some time, but again, this like depleting missile systems thing is stupid. Whether we're at war or not, you're always going to have like at any given time a finite number of these missiles because they're either going to be used or they go bad. So it's stupid.
One of them is $3.6 million. And so we have a shortage of these, and we have the Iran war right now where we have Iranians firing missiles at U.S. air bases all throughout the Middle East. And then at the same time, right, we need to protect ourselves in the homeland. So America really doesn't have a massive supply of these missiles to be giving out. Now, in an ideal world, if we could pop these things out and it was unlimited and we could mass produce them on a daily basis, just like Ukraine is mass producing drones on a daily basis. I mean, from my understanding, you guys produced 8 million drones last year, and I was told you're on track to actually produce 15 million this year. It's just unbelievable, especially when you think of the fact that America is only producing 300,000 a year. We have a lot to learn from Ukraine when it comes to drone production. But you can't mass produce Patriot missiles. So do I think that Ukraine should get Patriot missiles? I do. But at the same time, we don't even have enough of these Patriot missiles to defend ourselves. But in an ideal world, if there was able to be a mass production of Patriot missiles and we had enough to protect ourselves, I would say, yeah, Ukraine should get Patriot missiles, because now your president, Zelensky, just announced this week that Ukrainian intelligence has uncovered the fact that Russia is providing satellite imagery to the Iranians to locate U.S. air bases and to kill U.S. soldiers and kill and attack U.S. Navy members, right, on these ships in the Strait of Hormuz, right, and the Caspian Sea. And so really, when you think about it, given the news report this week that Ukraine, I guess they fired a drone at one of these Iranian ships that was carrying weapons from Russia.
On the Caspian Sea.
In the Caspian Sea, the Ukrainians are now helping us defeat Iran, even though your president said he doesn't really want to get dragged into the Iran war. So I'd say, isn't it a lot cheaper long-term to make sure that Ukraine has these Patriot missiles so that they can defend themselves against this alliance? Because it's not just Russia, right? Iran is sending Shaheds to Russia, and they're using these against the Ukrainians. And then the Russians are sending explosives, and they're sending drone materials as well to Iran, and they're using those to attack our allies and also to attack Israel and attack the United States of America, and like our service members. So we have to start thinking geopolitically long term. If Ukraine falls, well, what happens next? Russia has already said that their goal is to go to war with all of the NATO members. If they are successful in taking Ukraine, they are going to declare war on all of the NATO members.
I think this whole situation has proven like that is a pie in the sky retard pipe dream that's never gonna fucking happen. They've had so much trouble with just Ukraine, and again, they're running out of able-bodied fucking men. Like, they're not gonna be able to like keep doing these wars, and like I've got to imagine this war has become pretty unpopular in Russia, especially now that the one really nice rich area, Moscow, isn't even safe. Like, and Putin isn't gonna live forever. Like, he's only got so many more years left, if that. So it's just not, I just don't see Russia attacking NATO member nations. And if they do, they're just gonna get fucking smoked. Like, at this point too, their economy is just so fucking irreparably fucked, like in so many ways. They're just not gonna have money to do shit.
and the surrounding, former Soviet Union states. Well, what is their ultimate goal, right? It's the destruction of the West. And what is the West? Well, it's civilized European countries that aren't included in Eastern Europe, and it's the United States of America.
And as you said, they're supplying satellite information to Iran, so Iran can more successfully target US troops in the Persian Gulf.
Well, it's a communist country. They like to pretend they're not communists. They're communists. They're communists in Russia. And people will say, well, you're trying to bring back Russia-phobia and you're trying to bring back this Cold War era, sentiment. This doesn't help. And then they send their representatives to, the United States Congress to try to invite members of Congress to go on delegations to Russia. But if you really want peace and you really want to be a partner with the United States of America, then why are you supporting the Iranians when they're threatening to assassinate Donald Trump? Why are you trying to help kill our soldiers? Why are you retweeting these stupid Lego videos on your RT, state-run media account? Everybody knows. Or maybe they don't know. I don't know. Maybe they don't know that Vladimir Putin directs all the content out of the Kremlin, and the Kremlin controls RT. People seem to think that this is like an independent media organization, but Vladimir Putin controls.
Did you know that? Did you know that when you wrote for RT? Because I know you
did not.
you read it now.
I thought that RT. I didn't realize that it was all controlled out of the Kremlin. I did not. I didn't. They had a studio in D.C. They had a studio. Sputnik had a studio. It was actually known as like the nicest TV station in Washington, D.C. It was the most high tech.
Because they've been quite good at laundering their propaganda, pretending to be independent and sometimes running stuff that's mildly critical of
Well,
the
and they
Kremlin.
hired all these Americans. So you would see all these former American people. Like, I think a former Fox News producer moved to Russia to go work for RT. They had a lot of people that moved overseas, and they had a lot of Americans, too, that were broadcasting out of their D.C. office. And then it wasn't until they got sanctioned and they closed down the RT office. But when I was... as a conservative, people have to understand, like, they say, oh, why are so many people on the conservative right pro-Russia? You have to understand the political dynamic in America. When Joe Biden, and in my opinion, stole the election, I'll say stole the election, but maybe some of your viewers aren't going to agree.
They might disagree with that.
They can disagree. I believe the election was stolen. I do. When Joe Biden stole the election, and even leading up to the election, we saw this. The big tech social media companies, they censored information. They censored the Democrats have themselves to blame for this. They said Russia, 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 Russia for 10 years. They made up a Russia collusion hoax to lie and say that Russia was working with Donald Trump as a secret agent to try to steal the election from Hillary Clinton. That was all fake. And then what they did is they covered up the Hunter Biden laptop and they said, oh, well, it's Russian disinformation, right? Because they wanted to just say, oh, they're blaming Russia, when really the president's son had all that information, or the guy who was running to be president had all that information on his laptop. Why do I bring this up? Because you want to know why so many Americans fell for Russian propaganda? Well, they banned all of us. All the big tech social.
No, it's because you're dumb. And a lot of these social media accounts, again, Laura Loomer, Tim Pool, there's a bunch of other conservatives. Lauren Chen, she's Canadian, but there's a ton of conservative networks that were literally getting paid and funded by Russia. Yeah, weird. Interestingly, as soon as that Russia money dried up and these people were getting investigated for committing literal crimes, oh, suddenly Ukraine good. I don't know what the fuck she means by, oh, the reason this happened is because of censorship. No, the reason this happened is because you were dumb and you're getting fucking paid.
Media companies silenced us and they kicked us off, and the only place where we could go was Telegram. That was the only place that we could go. We got banned on Facebook. We got banned on Twitter. We got banned on Instagram. I was banned everywhere. I mean, I wrote an entire book called How I Became the Most Banned Woman in the World. So the censorship complex in the United States and the way that big tech censored political voices and deplatformed Donald Trump had a lot to do with why so many people on the right gravitated towards Russia. After Donald Trump got deplatformed, Vladimir Putin, I remember, gave an address. He gave an address. I don't know if you remember.
I don't, actually, but I'm sure you'll...
He gave an address, and he said, oh, well, America loves to say that they're a civilized country, but what kind of civilized country bans the leader of the free world, the president of the United States? And he said in this video, you could probably go back and find it, he's like, in Russia, we would ban Facebook and Twitter before we allowed them to ban a president. And a lot of people felt, wow, I can't believe we've been told that Russia's so authoritarian and they don't have free speech in Russia, but they're standing up more for Donald Trump than some of our own American lawmakers.
The Russians are very good at exploiting these
emotions
and existing kind of grievances and fractures in Western societies.
And I've realized that. I realized that my rage was capitalized and manipulated. They approached me. RT tried to recruit me, and they did recruit me at my lowest hour. They approached me right after my congressional campaign when I was very emotional. I was deplatformed as a...
Yeah, so guess what? That means you're fucking dumb. Dumb people let their emotions get the better of them. This is just fundamentally stupidity. I mean, what would even fucking give these people the idea? It just makes no fucking sense from top to bottom why anybody would be convinced that Russia's somehow the good guy. Like, the whole thing is just so fucking retarded. They're an adversarial regime.
A candidate, even on the ballot, despite winning my primary. They deplatformed me after I watched the Democrats steal the election from Donald Trump. And they said, oh, you know, we would really love to give you a voice. And we find it to be so bad and so shameful that your own country is not standing up for you while you're being deplatformed and silenced.
So essentially they recruited you, like recruited, that's how you recruit an asset, right? So they approached you when you...
They approached me and they said they would give me a byline and they offered to pay me. I never took money, I swear to God. It wasn't even a lot of money. They offered me like $150 per article. I never took money. I remember I didn't want to take money because I thought, oh, this is probably not a good idea because, you know, I only wrote about 5 or 6 op-eds. If they haven't deleted them, you could probably pull them up and see them. About big tech censorship, I think I even wrote one of the articles about Putin standing up for Donald Trump. But I never took the money because I thought, oh, after the Democrats pulled all their nonsense with Russiagate, the last thing I want is them accusing me of being some like Russian agent, right? So I never sent an invoice. And even if I would have sent an invoice, it's like under $1,000, you know? We're not talking a lot of money. But all you have to do is take $1 and you find yourself in trouble and they could make up charges against you.
In regards to your relationship with Donald Trump, obviously you're pretty close friends with him. Have you got a meeting with him scheduled for when you're back in the US? And are you going to tell him about your trip? He's obviously been following you pretty closely. He retweeted your interview with Zelensky. And what are you going to be saying to him in regards to his policy towards Ukraine?
So I spoke to the president actually like 2 days or so ago after I interviewed President Zelensky, and he told me that he liked President Zelensky very much, but he also told me that he likes Vladimir Putin. He does. He gets along with both. And so I don't want to speak for Donald Trump, but yeah, I do have plans to go and have a meeting with the president when I get back. It was scheduled prior to my trip to Ukraine. I do plan on sharing my experience with the president if he asks. I mean, the meeting was supposed to be about other things, but yeah, certainly. I mean, I would, if he asks about it, right? You get limited time. He's a very busy man, as you know. But I'm happy to share my experience. You know, I'm not a lobbyist, so I can't lobby politicians. It's not like I'm going to the White House to go lobby for, you know, Patriot missiles.
I mean, you're not a lobbyist, but you have very strong opinions, and you're not scared to share them, right?
I'm not afraid to share my opinions, and I don't care. Like, if people want to accuse me of being paid, they call me Mossad. They say I'm an Israeli spy. They say I'm paid by Ukraine. I'm not paid by any of these countries.
The government didn't pay for your trip.
The government did not pay for my trip. They did not. They did not pay for my trip. So they did not, and I would take a lie detector test to prove that. I would sign an affidavit with a penalty of perjury in the United States. The Ukrainian government did not pay me. They did not sign an agreement with me, and I did not have any of my trip paid for by the Ukrainian government.
You can understand why some people might be slightly suspicious of your apparent change of heart, but at the same time...
Yes, but at the same time, you know, I've been documenting the woke Reich, right? People want to say, what made you turn? When I started to see how these people, these woke Reich personnel,
$2 let me see.
Abdul El Sayed wins on Tuesday, but is defeated by the more moderate candidate in the race in the general, which would be Mike Rogers. I mean, are you not worried about that?
And what happens if Haley Stevens wins and is defeated by Mike Rogers? I mean, look, that's the way it is. Rogers, I think, is a fairly strong candidate. If the question is who is the stronger candidate against Rogers, I think it is El Sayed, and I'll tell you why. I think there is an energy in his campaign right now, a lot of grassroots activism. He has many, many thousands of people out knocking on doors, and in my view, that's the way you win elections.
But if Abdul El Sayed wins on Tuesday, but is defeated by the more moderate candidate in the race in the general, which would be Mike Rogers, I mean, are you not worried about that?
And what happens if Haley Stevens wins and is defeated by Mike Rogers? I mean, look, that's the way it is. Rogers, I think, is a fairly strong candidate. If the question is who is the stronger candidate against Rogers, I think it is El Sayed, and I'll tell you why. I think there is an energy in his campaign right now, a lot of grassroots activism.
Oh my
he
God.
has many, many thousands of people out knocking on doors, and in my view, that's the way you win elections.
Dude, Bernie Sanders is such a fucking idiot. Like, why is this guy even doing anything? He should just be yelling at skateboard kids on his front porch. Like, this guy's a fucking clown.
I think these guys have failed so publicly and so spectacularly that it has caused people to seek out alternatives.
Hassan is the reason why the Democrats are failing. It's because they're going in that Hassan direction.
I see challenges from the quote, progressive left, unquote. And these people are too hard-headed to know that they're not popular. People don't like them. They don't win elections. They never run against Republicans. They just run against other Democrats. And their only message is, we're going to blow everything up.
James Carville says this is all going to implode at the general election.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. General elections, they're going to get absolutely fucking destroyed. And then the, like, cities and municipalities they actually control, they're all just going to go to shit.
Yeah, as opposed to previous neoliberal Democratic candidacies that have been spectacular successes so far.
Biden won, you fucking idiot.
Hillary Rodham Clinton in 2016 and Kamala Harris in 2024. There are a lot of people who are just like, this is not working. Cost
But he ignores Joe Biden? Like, what?
The crisis is completely out of control. Democrats haven't done anything about it. Republicans haven't done anything about it. There has to be a different alternative.
I have one simple philosophy about politics. Winning is everything, stupid. Let's think of somebody. Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders ran for president twice. You know what he did twice? He lost. By a lot.
Because for progressives, getting out of the primary is a far more difficult battle than winning in the general.
No, it's not. Dude, like, why is anybody interviewing Hassan or taking anything he says seriously? Like, this is just insane, the hypocrisy. Let me see. Left-wing influencers explained. Great video. Have a take on the streamer drama question you pose. Live streaming is a medium, something blah, blah, blah. Cancer is a large group of diseases with one thing in common. They happen when normal cells become cancer cells that multiply and spread. Yeah, and I literally fucking say this to him, and I've pointed out that the cancer's infecting him, and then he doesn't take it seriously. Dude, it's just... I just don't know what the fuck Destiny's doing. I think he's just an idiot.
At some point, something has to give where people are like, okay, it is kind of weird that everybody seems to be avoiding the gnome, right? Like, I don't know how much you know about the Professor Dave guy, but he is like the craziest like debate bro. And I mean that
I didn't know anything about it.
Oh, I mean that in the most respectful way possible. I don't know. Did you see the video I posted on Twitter or whatever, or I think retweeted Black Cat? This is normal Dave behavior.
You're a coward because you've never emailed me a single time to set up a debate, because you don't actually want to debate me, because you're a pathetic toddler coward.
I commented in a Professor Dave viewer said he shouldn't debate Destiny because Destiny is a liar and argues in bad faith. Yeah, the guy literally debates flat earthers.
Flat earthers.
Yeah.
That's his whole job. You got to email him though and be like,
I already messaged him on Instagram. Ed Pangburn reached out to him. He already said no. He said no like 15 times. Everybody keeps saying you just no. He said no like 15 times. He's never doing it.
Hey Dave, saw you were saying all this about the other people. What about me?
Also, he can't, what was he saying that his video was demonetized? Has he said that anywhere? And that's why he's collecting money for it? Because his video is super monetized.
Is it?
Yes.
I'm honestly surprised it is.
I'm surprised it is too, because my stream actually got like taken down for, and like not like I can't even monetize it because of graphic content.
With the amount of like children he put in there.
I'm gonna save that clip.
Point, something.
Yeah, that's fucking retarded. Thanks, Dodo.
And these podcasters in the United States, they built their careers off of Donald Trump. They were able to become multimillionaires off of the MAGA audience. And now these people are trashing the president every single day, making up lies about him, calling him a pedophile, saying that he's controlled by Israel, saying that he's an Israeli puppet. They say that he's old. I mean, there's so many lies about Donald Trump, and people like Tucker Carlson, or Tucker Carlson, as I call him, you know, they spread these lies. And guess who's amplifying it? Guess who is obsessively clipping the lies of Tucker Carlson, the lies of Nick Fuentes, the lies of Candace Owens, the lies of that lunatic Jackson Hinkle, who should be arrested and have his passport confiscated as soon as he returns to the United States. That crazy guy, Scott Ritter, Glenn Greenwald, right? Max Blumenthal. There's so many of these people in the United States. And why is it that when I used to follow RT, they were like a legitimate news source, right? They would cover international news. They would get war correspondents. They covered everything. It seemed like they covered all stories from all around the world. But now when you watch RT on their social media page, if you pull it up, there's no more balanced news coverage. It's literally just a clip account of American podcasters who are pro-Russia, pro-Putin, anti-Trump, and pro-Holocaust denial, anti-Israel, and anti-Jewish, and pro-Islam.
But obviously, RT gave that impression deliberately, right? Because they wanted to create the sense that they were fair and balanced.
Yeah,
so
and
that
I'm bamboozled. I'm here
they
to admit that
bamboozled you.
I got bamboozled. And it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. Really, I am embarrassed because it's embarrassing. Look, I know that like a lot of people don't want to ever admit they're wrong. And I always say, oh, I'm never wrong. My whole slogan is, oh, I'm always right. I'm always right, right? Eventually people realize I'm always right. But I was wrong. I was wrong about RT. And I deeply regret writing articles for RT. And I deeply regret going on, I think I went on Ben Swan's podcast, and I think I actually said this. I think I actually said on his show, wow, why can't American media all be like RT and Russian media? It seems like you guys do a way better job. And I never should have said that, because I realize now it was like a psychological operation. And they have a $1.8 billion budget. I thought it was $1 billion. And then when I started talking to Faizu and I started talking to the Center for
Hoping Royd Cell donated $2. Shout out to this kid for calling out that fear-mongering clown Colton. No idea why he fear-mongers so much. Fuck that ginger cunt. Let me see.
But also dangerous.
But also dangerous. That is true. But this is what I don't understand. This is bodybuilding. This is dangerous. This is a hard sport. Some people sacrifice a lot for this sport. This is the only sport that gets criticized for being dangerous. The only one. Look at fighting. Look at UFC, boxing. Oh my God, guys, yes. Beat the fucking shit out of each other. Oh, beat the absolute fuck out of each other. We don't care if you die after this. You can die from this. Yeah, if you hit your head wrong or something with a punch, or you get choked out too long, you can die. But we don't care. Just beat the fucking shit out of each other. Fuck yes. With bodybuilding, it's, oh my God. Guys, you can.
Well, another thing too is, like, you can see how fighting has just ruined people's lives in the most fucking horrific ways imaginable. Like, look what happened to BJ Penn. That guy has such fucking severe brain damage. Like my God, he's fucking delusional. He's basically schizophrenic at this point. He doesn't remember his family members. He's extremely violent and aggressive because of the brain damage. He can't move properly. And again, like this guy's living out on the fucking street, begging for money, like as if that's more preferable than doing bodybuilding and maybe like dropping dead of a heart attack like Dallas McCarver or something. So yeah, it's kind of funny how people do this concern trolling bullshit, and just shaming when you're doing something that you enjoy that has known risks and dangers. But then when it comes to martial arts, oh yeah, fuck, sick, bro. That fight was so sick. Like, and there's plenty of other examples. Like, there's fucking MotoGP, Islandman TT. It's not so true today, but like, dude, rally racing, Group B, that was fucking insane. You're just asking to fucking die doing Group B. Like in F1, there's still some like deaths here and there. So, like, there's plenty of things that are fucking dangerous where people fucking die. People get, like, so fucked up and injured and messed up. Like, their life is ruined. That's all cool because, oh, fucking sick. That car crash was awesome. That race was so cool. Oh, I love that fight. But then, like, when people are assuming, similar risks with bodybuilding, what are you doing to yourself? Like, it's just concern trolling bullshit.
You can die. Why are you doing this?
And by the way, like, this is so fucking individual too. The way people respond to drugs is so fucking vastly different. Like Ian Valaire, he left a comment on one of my Instagram posts. Somebody was saying that I'm gonna get heart enlargement and stuff from the steroids and die. Ian Valaire left a comment and said he's been blasting fucking high doses of gear for like fucking long ass time, over a decade. He doesn't have any heart enlargement. And he's talked about some of his cycles. He's used really high doses of nandrolone, which is particularly bad for cardiac remodeling. He didn't get it. So, like, you know, if you're getting these checkups done and nothing's fucking happening to you because you just happen to be immune to some of the bad effects these drugs can have, what are you, like, there's just no reason to fucking complain about some of this shit. It's like the Tren thing. Like, I started using Tren and people were like, oh god, you're gonna get mental health side effects. Turns out it's improved my mental health. So, like, yeah, it's just social media clickbait fucking bullshit.
No, please don't do this. You're gonna die. But we're fighting any other dangerous sport that you can die from. Oh, yeah, that's fucking sick. But bodybuilding, no. But if you look at the numbers, I think I saw a post like a couple days ago that was like, oh my god, this is how many
Yeah, 121 died. That's over 20,000 athletes. So, by the way, mean age of death 45. People misinterpreted this. A bunch of people said the average age of death for a bodybuilder is 45. That's not what the study found. The study found that of those that died, the average age was 45. So they're like it may be a combination of bad lifestyle factors and bad luck. Like these people who died relatively young, they might have been doing other fucking drugs aside from steroids. That's actually usually the fucking case. Like Mike Menser, he was a fucking alcoholic and meth addict. There's a lot of meth addiction and shit in bodybuilding and opiate addiction. Antoine Vaillant, he got lucky. He hasn't died, but he was addicted to meth. There's been a bunch of bodybuilders who are addicted to alcohol and opiates. Jerry Ward, he was addicted to fucking heroin for a while. So some of these people who died, like, it may very well have not even really been from steroids. Could have been other drug addiction. And again, like other combined lifestyle factors, like alcohol is really bad for you. Cigarettes are really bad for you. It may in fact be the case that if you're on steroids, they become that much more bad for you. But if you just avoid that, the steroids are safe. So, like a good example of that would be like Johnny Skywalker. That guy was running pretty stupid steroid cycles. He was running like high doses of Tren year round. But on top of that, he was also smoking cigarettes, drinking, and taking other party drugs like cocaine. He ended up having heart enlargement, which resulted in heart failure. He's still alive, but he's like fucked up. Again, he might have avoided that entirely if he just didn't smoke and drink and do those other party drugs, which also contribute to cardiomyopathy.
bodybuilders died this year? But then someone in the comments was like, oh, if you do the math, that's actually 0.4% of bodybuilders that died that year, which is insanely fucking low.
Trend prolapse on utilitarians. What's your current steroid stack, caloric intake, macros? You look dry as fuck. Also, have you gotten any recent echoes, blood work? What's your current test level E2 at? And what ancillary drugs do you take? Any HCG? Last time I got an echocardiogram, I think that was around December. That didn't find anything. So how long ago would that be? Like January, February, March, April, May, June, July, like 6-7 months ago. I'll probably get another echo, like probably around the same, like maybe around October, like just towards the fall, just to see how things are. I'll probably get like one a year or something. But yeah, last time I got an echo done, they didn't find anything. It was just normal, like normal heart size, rhythm, like all that crap. Right now I'm taking 525 test, 100 Tren, 105 milligrams Boldnone, and 210 milligrams Masteron, and 5 IUs HGH on training days. And what's funny is I feel healthier after adding the Tren because it's helped my sleep and my mood is just better. I have like less mental stress and shit. So I feel healthier and like nothing, like my cardio is better too. I noticed a big cardio improvement after I took Tren. So I feel healthier on trend. But yeah, I feel good overall. And what's it called? Like I have used some TB500 the last couple months too. Like I don't know if that matters to you. But yeah, as far as ancillaries, I'm on T4 thyroid. I've had to use that since I had the water retention issue. I'm pretty sure it was from some thyroid problem relating to the human growth hormone. I've been taking 200 micrograms a day. I'm gonna try reducing it and see if if I can just take 100 micrograms and be fine. Just to save money. I just started off with a full replacement dose for my body weight, and that worked to get rid of the water retention. But yeah, I'm gonna try just having the dose and see if I'm fine on that. I probably don't need that much. And I'm taking 80 milligrams telmisartan per day. So I started taking telmisartan just to prevent LVH, and so far so good. I'm definitely not symptomatic with anything, so like if I have any kind of heart enlargement or anything, I sure as fuck can't tell. And again, like 6-7 months ago, I got an echo done and found nothing. Not on HCG. Last time I got my E2 levels checked, I think they're at like 55. And test was over 5,000. I think it was like 5,100 or something. Thanks for the donation, Trend Prolapse.
Has a way higher death rate.
But also...
Yeah, fucking Coach Colton's a fucking idiot.
Disinformation, they told me the budget's actually $1.8 billion a year for propaganda and psychological operations on people. So, you know, I was wrong, and hopefully other people who realize that they're wrong as well. But I realize they're polluting the minds of Americans by serving as a rapid response team. And clearly they have a lot of funding behind this, because as a journalist myself and as somebody who runs media and has a production team, and I have, you know, a show that I do twice a week, and I have my own website, I know how much money it costs every single month to pay people to clip your clips. I know it's not cheap. And by the end of the year, it's like over $100,000, if not multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars to run a media operation. And so if RT has, and that's just for me, right? That's for my show. That's not even including like all these other shows out there. So if you have staff, and I know that they're not paying people American salaries in Russia, but just think about this from a monetary perspective. And this is what really woke me up. If you have a full-time clip team 24/7 clipping the accounts of these podcasters, and then you're sharing this content everywhere, how much money are they paying to amplify these people? They're not even registering as lobbyists, or they're not even registering with FARA, because maybe they know, or maybe they don't know. Maybe these American podcasters are in touch with the Russian government. I mean, some of them are, right? Like Tucker and Candace, clearly, because they went to Russia. But maybe some of these podcasters don't even know, and they've just assigned somebody from RT to watch their show 24/7 and to clip it and to inflame social tensions. But it's very bizarre to me that they're so fixated on trying to create a political divide in the United States. And it's because they want to weaken our national security by making people not support Donald Trump, because they know that Donald Trump is the only person who can end this war between Russia and Ukraine.
Do you think that he can end this war within a reasonable time scale? Because obviously he said he was going to end it in 24 hours. That didn't happen. And he has been trying to end it.
He's been trying.
But he hasn't been successful so far. Do you think he should come to Kyiv? Do you think he should
Yes,
send
I think he should come. You know, I know that Steve and Jared have been, and I know both of them.
Why haven't they come to Kyiv?
I don't know. But I tweeted the other day that they should. When I was having a meeting with Ambassador Kitslitsa in his office at the presidential building, I noticed on his desk, and I tweeted this photo, he has a photo of, well, he has the actual copy of Jared Kushner's book. And I said, oh, Jared Kushner, did he bring you this book? He said, no, they haven't come to Kyiv.
But they visited Moscow
But they visited Moscow like 7 times. So I think absolutely, especially after this last week where Marco Rubio met with Lavrov in the Philippines, and he showed such disrespect towards the lives of American soldiers and was mocking the questions from American reporters when they asked him about why Russia is supplying Iran with weapons to kill soldiers. And he's like, oh, speak louder. Oh, get a better hairstyle. They should absolutely say fuck the Russians, and they should come to Kyiv. Because why would you even want to entertain something like that? They're killing our soldiers. So if I can come here and survive, you know, as an American citizen on my own, I had security, don't get me wrong, Why would Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff not come? They could have a U.S. delegation, U.S. Armed Services. They could have special forces from America come and escort them if they wanted to. I'm sure this is how it works all the time. I'm telling you, I survived. Look, I could get droned on the train tonight, I suppose, right? But I survived. And even with ballistic missiles being rained down on Kyiv, I survived. So, maybe they want to wait a little bit to send President Trump. I don't know. But I don't see why Jared Kushner or Steve Witkoff can't come and have a meeting here. They just had Whitaker, our ambassador for NATO. He was here. So if he could survive, he didn't get droned. He didn't get struck by a drone. He didn't get killed in a ballistic missile attack. Why can't they send Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff?
One thing you sent out on X was as opposed to saying that you didn't see any Muslims when you were in Ukraine. Do you think you might have seen them, but you just didn't notice? Because we have thousands of Muslims serving the Ukrainian armed forces here.
Well, I was told that you guys do have Muslims, but they must be assimilated then, because that's another thing that I find to be so impressive about
They're not.
Ukraine is that, look, I don't hate Muslim people, but you can't deny the fact that you're from the UK. I mean, you know what the #1 baby name is in the UK?
Muhammad. It's got to be Muhammad. Trank Fafano donated do you ask your doctor for an echo referral because you're on PEDS? I'm in Ontario too. I'm about to hop on tests, spent almost a year researching AAS. I have all my ancillaries in place and baseline blood work. All I'm missing is a baseline natty echo. I didn't actually get a baseline natty echo, but again, when I got it done, it didn't show any problems. I actually got the echo in the emergency room. I had that crazy water retention in the winter, and it came out of nowhere. I didn't really know what it was from at the time. There's when you get water retention like that, it wasn't just peripheral edema, like the pooling in the legs. It was everywhere. So like my face, chest, stomach, arms, legs, it just pooled up everywhere. And I also got the really fucking bad neuropathy all down my arms. So I went to the hospital, told them like what drugs I was taking. They suspected like it could be like heart failure or kidney damage or something. So they did a bunch of tests just to make sure it wasn't any of those things. I didn't think it was. Like, I wasn't on high doses of drugs, and I wasn't on for very long, so I thought it was probably just some weird metabolic thing or something. And yeah, I got a urinalysis. I got my cystatin C tested. It showed no protein in the urine. Kidney function was fine, and the echo showed my heart function was fine. So like they're fucking retards. They wouldn't prescribe me anything for the water retention. They wouldn't even prescribe me an ARB. So I just looked around, and the thing that seemed to be the most likely reason was the thyroid. I had my thyroid tested, and my T4 was very low. So I figured, okay, maybe I'll replace the T4. I did some reading. Apparently, if you have low T4, it can do something with capillary permeability and cause water retention. So I took the T4. As soon as I took the T4, the water retention went away. So that was the only problem I had, and that was related to growth hormone. Apparently, that's a pretty unusual side effect. I talked to Dr. Todd Lee about that. He had actually never heard about that before. So I don't know, but yeah, the T4 fixed it. But yeah, just talk to your doctor. Say you're on PEDS and you want to get an echo just to make sure your heart's fine. Thanks for the donation though, Trank Fafano.
Mohammed.
Mohammed, you think that sounds like a British name?
I mean, I think that's for a specific reason that a lot of Muslims
No, it's a yes or no
name-
question.
It's not a.
Is that a British name?
It's not a British name, but there's
Is it
a specific.
Harry, Charles,
but there's a
Elizabeth?
specific-
My middle name is Elizabeth. I'm actually half English. My
My
mother's
name's
from
James,
Bath.
right? And there's
Right,
lots
very
of
British
different.
name.
There's lots of different variations of British names, but there's one very popular Muslim name, and I think that's why it's the most popular name in the UK, if that makes sense.
No, it's the most popular name in the UK because your country has been totally overrun by Muslims. You have a Muslim mayor in London, Sadiq Khan, and you have a jihadist.
You have Mamdani in the US.
And they need to denaturalize him. I did not want Mamdani. I'm very outspoken against Islam. I'm very anti-Islam. I personally don't believe Muslims should be allowed to hold office in the United States. It's not a religion in my eyes. It's a political ideology. I feel very strongly about this because if you look at the way Islam is practiced in other parts of the world, it's a legal code. And so I know that Poland has really strict immigration as well. They don't have a Muslim problem. So maybe the Muslims that are coming into Ukraine or the Muslims who live here, they feel assimilated. Maybe they're not wearing the hijab, which is an outward symbol that you are Sharia adherent. So Kyiv in that sense should be, in Ukraine, Kyiv is a city, but Ukraine as a country should be applauded for preserving your majority as a white Christian European nation. Russia, on the other hand, I notice one of the things I love to say is we're persecuted because we're white and we're Christian. Well, you're not really. Like you have more, I think it's like the fastest growing Islamization of any country in Europe. And so you have Vladimir Putin on video kissing a Quran with Kadyrov and telling Kadyrov that he needs to command his forces to invade Ukraine for the sake of carrying out a holy war, a jihad in support of Russia and Vladimir Putin. So how are you preserving Christianity when you're aligning with, third world jihadist Muslims that are, savaging.
Yeah, a lot of conservative commentators were acting as if Russia's some like white nationalist Christian conservative nation. They have a ton of fucking Muslims, and they need to. They're literally doing this SJW cultural enrichment shit to try to drive up recruitment numbers for Muslims. It's just hilarious.
Thousands of Ukrainians because. Not just because they're Ukrainian, but because it's a religious war for them, right? I think it's important to highlight that because Russia loves to say, oh, we're the same. You're not the same. You're not the same.
I mean, it's ironic because Russia
Not the same.
heavily persecutes Crimean Tatars, right? But they're a Muslim minority in Crimea, which Russia illegally annexed in 2014.
They criminalize everybody that isn't part of the Russian Orthodox Church. I met with your rabbi, the chief rabbi here, Rabbi Osman. He told me that the KGB opened a file on him and investigated him. He said he was born in Russia and that they investigated him for being Jewish. We have so much anti-Semitism in America. And you know what I discovered here, speaking and just opening my eyes, getting on a plane for 12 hours and then taking a train for 15 hours and driving for 8 hours? I learned that anti-Semitism is illegal in Ukraine. Nazism is illegal in Ukraine. If you're caught with Third Reich or swastika or Nazi memorabilia or Nazi regalia...
Bro, like, it's especially weird that Laura Loomer was pro-Russia at one point when... what was that fucked up, Wagner Group? Yeah, Wagner Group was run by a literal fucking Nazi. That's why it was called Wagner. It was Hitler's favorite composer. So, like, it's so... Like, this is an idiot who just didn't do any fucking research.
Even for so-called historical purposes, you will go to jail. They give you a slap on the wrist one time, they put you in a database so they know that you're an offender, and then they jail you, and they arrest you. We don't even have that in the United States. You're allowed to walk around with a swastika if you want in the United States because they say it's free speech.
Do you think that this...
Natty Cope destroyed running tillers. Remember this time last year when you hopped on 210 milligrams Tessie and blew up? Looking at running big boy cycles, how long will you stay on Tren? I love AAS 250 tests for life here, but Tren and DHT scare me. I've only ever ran testosterone cycles. The plan is to only run Tren for 8 weeks. The most I'd run it would be an extra like maybe 10 or run it up to like maybe 10, 12 weeks. But yeah, I'm probably just gonna run it for 8 weeks. I really like Tren. It makes me feel great, and I get better sleep on it, so it's nice. I was worried about it at first, but then when I tried it, it was just fucking great. It doesn't mean it's doing anything great for my health, so I'm not gonna run it indefinitely, obviously. But yeah. As far as Masteron, Masteron is extremely fucking safe. Like as far as potential side effects you can get, like increased hematocrit, blood pressure, stuff like that, like it doesn't do anything. It's just anabolic. If you ask me, it's about as anabolic as test. I've actually gotten really good results from Masteron. It's pretty okay for strength. Anavar is definitely a better drug for strength. Same with Tren. Tren's definitely, it boosts your strength more. But yeah, Masteron, it just feels like you're not even really taking anything, and it's just anabolic. It literally does nothing to your body. It's not liver toxic, not kidney toxic, not neurotoxic, doesn't raise blood pressure, doesn't increase hematocrit, red blood cell count. Like, it just makes you grow muscle. So it's pretty fucking safe in that regard. The only thing it does do is it will lower your DHT, in all likelihood anyway, more than testosterone would. So, you know, taking algae DHA supplements would probably be a really good idea while running it, and just, you know, like, it's debatable how much it really matters because HDL is a non-causal risk factor for heart disease. So as long as your ApoB is low, I wouldn't say you really have much to worry about with Masteron. Like, again, just, you know, to be precautious, you probably don't want your DHT in single digits, but yeah, Masteron's pretty fucking safe. It really just doesn't do anything other than just grow muscle. But thanks for the donation, Natty Cope Destroyer. Jolington, come. Yeah, I would like to come. That'd be nice.
Fight that Ukraine is waging for its independence has quite an American character. Because if you think about 1776, America was fighting us, the Brits, a big imperial power.
You know what, also? I fucking love Boldenone. I'd say of all the steroids I've taken, aside from, like, like, you have to take testosterone, but, like, as far as just making me feel really, really good, Boldenone and Tren so far have been the best steroids for just making me feel great. Boldenone gives me this wonderful, like, feeling of wellness and relaxation, and Tren just makes me very mood stable, very calm. I'm way less prone to getting angry. Like that fucking jackass who donates all the time, spamming she who shall not be named. Like, I'll just let him fucking spam that shit during workout streams now, and it just doesn't fucking bother me. Like, it's weird. It really improved my mood and just made me feel better. And it also helped me sleep. But yeah, Test also makes me feel great. But yeah, Boldenone and Tren, they really make me feel great.
That we were determined to keep you under our yoke, and that's what Russia is essentially doing here. So do you think conservative Americans should really embrace this fight for independence by the Ukrainians? Because it seems very American to me.
Yeah, I think they should. And especially knowing what we know now, that Russia is trying to stop the U.S. from winning or at least ending our own war with the Iranians, supplying them with weapons, satellite imagery to murder U.S. Soldiers, attack our bases. Absolutely, because there's this phrase in the United States that the crocodile will eat you last. They eat you last until they eat you. They might eat you last, but they're still going to eat you. And it goes back to what I said in the beginning of our interview. Multipolarity is only spreading at a more rapid pace every single day. China, Russia, Iran. There was a report that Russia is now going to get 30,000 soldiers from North Korea. And there's a lot of politicians in the United States that are trying to hijack the MAGA movement because Donald Trump is only going to be president for 2 more years, right? Thank God that he is our president. Thank God. I wish we could have him longer than that. But there's going to be somebody else after. And there's this fight on the American right now to redefine what that is. And a lot of people want it to be isolationism. I do not want it to be isolationism because I personally believe that when you push isolationist policies, you give rise to multipolarity. But these are the people like Tucker Carlson, for example, who, you know, he has close relationships with people in our government. He's very good friends with our vice president, right? Tucker's son worked for the vice president, and I get along with Vice President J.D. Vance, but you cannot deny the fact that there are people who serve in the highest levels of the Trump administration who are isolationists, and that is only going to give rise to multipolarity. You know, America doesn't need to be involved in every single war, but we do need to have our foot, or at least our pressure, applied to the entire world because we create a sense of balance. Otherwise, you have this axis of evil running around the world, wreaking havoc, killing everybody in sight because they're imperialist, right? They're imperialist in nature, and they say it themselves. They want to have greater Russia. Doesn't just end with Ukraine. It doesn't just end with Ukraine. They want a greater Russia. They want to have a complete Russian empire that encapsulates all of Europe. And then what's the rest of the West? What do they call it? They call it the Great Satan. And people are crazy if they think that they're never going to take a shot at the United States. It might not be today. It might not be tomorrow. It might not be 5 years from now. It might not even be 50 years from now. People only tend to think of how things affect them. People are really selfish, right? Like, oh, I'll be dead by then. I don't care. Oh, it doesn't impact me, right? I'm on this side of the world. I don't live in Ukraine. It doesn't matter. Someday it will. Someday it will affect our country, and it already is.
So you've really one of your biggest takeaways from this trip will be that what happens in this country really does matter. Because a lot of people
matter.
on the right didn't think that before.
Yeah,
Now
and
you
we're
know
not
that
going
it
to have
matters.
Trump forever. Trump is the one that everyone's afraid of. Vladimir Putin is afraid of Donald Trump. He is. He can pretend like he's not. But Vladimir Putin knows that Donald Trump is the one who calls the shots. He is.
Will growth hormone make my hands and wrists bigger if I take enough? If you take very, very high doses, and I mean like very high, you probably need to be taking like at least 10 IUs per day for like close to a decade to really notice any hand enlargement. That guy Andrew Smayev, I'm pretty sure he's taking like probably somewhere around like somewhere between 18 to 30 IUs of growth hormone per day. He's been doing that for like it's got to be at least like close to a decade. His hands definitely got bigger. So if you take very high doses, yeah, especially in combination with other steroids, but you know, most people aren't going to be taking that much.
He could have been way more aggressive towards Vladimir Putin if he wanted to, right? I don't think that.
Do you think he should be?
I mean, look, if I was president of the United States and Russia was supplying Iran with weapons, I would kill Vladimir Putin.
And he has the power to do that. Obviously,
But I mean, obviously, I don't speak for the president. I'm not saying Donald Trump should kill Vladimir Putin. I'm just saying if I was president of the United States and I found out that another country was lying to my face and they were supplying a country that I was at war with, a country that is broadcasting 20 times a day on their national state television, kill Trump, death to America, death to Trump.
Yeah.
You know, I would find a way for that world leader to tragically pass away from a heart attack very unexpectedly. Sound familiar?
Well, base take. At least Laura Loomer is not a complete retard anymore. So that's not too bad.
To nothing.
Gun grab fight.
But punish law-abiding firearms owners. You're not going to see a reduction in crime. You're not going to see, less tragic events, tragic crime, heavily nonsense.
So, Devin, you called me on here to talk because the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, our legal team, just officially filed to intervene in the Canadian Coalition for Firearm Rights case at the Supreme Court of Canada against the gun confiscation. But for taxpayers, what does that actually mean?
Absolutely. So we filed what's called a notice for leave to intervene at the Supreme Court of Canada. And essentially what we're asking for is, to be an intervener to the case. So that's a party that's not, the applicant that's bringing the case or the appellant or the respondent, the defendant, the person that the case is against. We've applied to be an intervener, which is a separate party that, is asking for permission to participate in this. We do this all the time here at the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, but we're basically asking the court to allow the voice of taxpayers to be in the courtroom. And that's, what we're intending to do here. And, while our friends, the CCFR and the other parties to the case are really talking about the firearm angle in detail, our intervention is a little different. It's similar, but it's a
Who's calling me? Give me a second. All right.
Essentially talking about how this ban will also, impact taxpayers. And we've talked a lot on this, on this channel about the costs associated with the buyback, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, they're projecting it to be like way fucking over budget. Like if they're actually going to implement the buyback, you're talking about billions spent. And again, that's billions of dollars that will not stop a single fucking crime. In fact, it would probably increase crime.
That a bit more in detail, but here's what gets interesting about this case. So the ban covers not just specific named firearms, but it also covers unnamed variants, they call it, or modified versions. But the problem with that is nobody ever defined what a variant actually is. So there's no fixed definition in the law. And the RCMP just has this internal document, this firearms reference table that it uses to decide whether a given firearm qualifies. But the court has already said that that has no legal force. So we have essentially a moving standard. And, when you have a criminal prohibition, right, when you have something that is not tied to a specific, legal definition, when you have something that can just constantly be changing, you have the tax dollar spending behind it, the money that the government has allocated to quote unquote compensate firearm owners. We have basically this moving definition of what's banned, and that means the moving cost to taxpayers based on this, ambiguity. So, we've applied to intervene on that point. So in Canadian law, there's a constitutional principle called the vagueness doctrine. And under this, a criminal, for a law to be criminal, it has to be clear enough to the people that, that could be charged under it. I need to be able to know if something is illegal or not. Under this current, under this current idea, or this current, proposed law that the government has, that's, we're challenging as being unconstitutional. How can someone know what a variant of a banned firearm is if the government themselves can't even define it? So, we're applying to essentially say that, the enforcement of this law, it's unconstitutional because they don't even know what guns they're banning, because they're banning quote unquote variants. So we've applied for leave to intervene to address that point, that you have a moving standard by the government on what firearms are even banning. And then at the same time, they're planning to take, hundreds of millions of dollars from taxpayers to pay for this moving target. So, very interesting case. We're very excited about it here in the legal team. But yeah, that's kind of fundamentally what the update is, that we've officially filed for leave to intervene. We're hoping to hear back soon, and we're hoping to bring a taxpayer angle to this case so that, the courts are not only considering all the other reasons why this firearms, confiscation is unconstitutional, but why also it's violating this principle that the law has to be you have to be able to tell what the law is, what it means.
From law following firearm owners, but experts show that confiscation cost could go up to the billions of dollars. So of course taxpayers are getting involved.
It would have to. Yeah, it would at least be in the billions. It's the stupidest idea. And again, after spending at least $1 billion taxpayer dollars, best case scenario, it will not reduce crime. Worst case scenario, it will actually increase crime. You see this effect cross-culturally. When firearms bans are applied, you actually tend to see an increase in firearms violence. And just crime in general. And the theory behind that is when you disarm law-abiding citizens, criminals are then emboldened to commit more crime and victimize more people. So, again, that's a cross-cultural phenomena. When the UK enacted their NFA, firearms violence increased. It wasn't until they increased mandatory minimum sentences did it decrease. So there was no point to enacting the NFA. It did nothing. It increased crime. And then after they did something that was actually useful, it's just beyond stupid. But yeah, that's the fucking liberal government for you. They love wasting your money and making everything worse. That's just what they fucking do.
Sir, can I see your nails? Can I see your nails?
So big. Oh.
Hi!
Oh, so big.
Ma'am, can you
Oh my
take your claw
goodness.
out of my arm? Yeah, don't.
They're so big.
Hey, that's mine.
It's funny how all kitties are the same.
That's mine. Oh.
So big. You know, I think there's a BeamNG 0.39 update, right? Yeah, fucking sick, dude. We gotta play that soon. Maybe tomorrow I'll do a morning stream where we play BeamNG Drive. My shoulder is really good now. I can definitely play some racing games. But yeah, they just released this update.
Right behind me on this tree, we have Kovu. He is sharpening his claws right now.
Dude, Australia is like the dumbest, gayest, most liberal fucktard country I've ever fucking seen. As bad as the UK is, you know, like the usual happens. Okay, they banned handguns. So what happened? Okay, you can still buy a handgun. It's just not a handgun, quote unquote. So they put a dingus on the fucking hand grip, and then there's like a barrel shroud that's super long, but it's still a fucking handgun. And you can still buy BB guns, so, and airsoft guns. So if you just want to, like, you know, have something that's close to a real gun just to fuck around with, you can still do that. You can still shoot like a BB gun in your backyard. Australia, not only have they banned BB guns and Nerf guns, and like the airsoft guns, you can't even buy Nerf guns without registering it with the police. It is fucking insane. I've never seen a country so ideologically opposed to firearms in my fucking life. And again, it's purely ideological. They just do not like the idea of a gun. So even replica firearms, even non-replica firearms, like a Nerf gun. Oh, that could teach a child that guns are cool. So they make you register fucking Nerf guns with the police. It's fucking insane. A lot of people don't know that too. Like I brought this up before with like Pat. She's from Australia. She literally didn't even fucking believe it when I told her, and then when I showed her, she was like, "Holy fuck!" But my God, like that is the dumbest fucking shit I've ever seen in my life. Like I can't believe how fucking gay and retarded Australia is. Like what's funny too is you've got countries like Japan that do have really, really strict firearms policies. You can still get guns there, but they're particularly strict. Huge airsoft scene. A lot of the best airsoft guns come from Japan, like the Tokyo Maru and everything. And they have airsoft competitions. They literally just treat airsoft as like, you know, a shooting sport. But fucking Australia. There you go. Like you can actually be more gay and cucked and retarded than like even a country like Japan.
There's a lion in my boot.
You'd hate living in Melbourne. It's much worse than you imagine. Would I at least have an excuse to drop people on their heads?
That foot. Sir, did you lose something? Is this yours? Or is it your brother's? It's yours.
Big.
It's big old murder.
Oh my goodness. Murder mittens. Oh wow, they're so big. Look at those paws. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, they're cats.
Look at those big paws of yours. You got some big
They're so big.
paws. Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Look how big your feet
They're so
are.
big. It's amazing how big they are.
Thank you. What are you doing today?
Wow, you have to clip their nails just like a kitty.
They look nice and healthy.
Wow. Oh.
Sir.
That was a nice lion. Wow.
Can you please draw yourself in the middle of a roid rage, neck tendons bulging, flexing your muscles and in a hospital room with an emaciated, bedridden cancer patient, who appears terrified, while shouting you're a beta male. You don't even lift.
I suppose I can do that for you. That is the wrong tool. Ah, fuck, there's a fly. Fucking fly, shit. Oh, wait. I don't know why that was a question mark. Okay, There is the drawing of me raging out in a hospital room with an emaciated cancer patient while shouting you're a beta male who doesn't even lift. Hope you enjoyed that drawing. Thanks for the donation, Jessica.
So some people might already know this, but I have ulcerative colitis. After the whole cancer thing, it's gotten actually quite a bit better, but treating it has been pretty difficult over the course of my life. Hasn't been fun the whole time, I'll tell you what. There was a couple of years there I could not fart safely. Ulcerative colitis is one of a few kinds of inflammatory bowel diseases, and those diseases can be very bad for anyone that has them. There is no cure, and the treatments are not always effective for everybody. But new research suggests that a promising treatment for certain types of chronic inflammatory bowel disease might come from something that we know is absolutely terrible for you in every other way: smoking. Let's start with a quick note on what we're talking about here. Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis are both forms of inflammatory bowel disease, aka IBD. The classic characteristic of both of these diseases is that, like the name suggests, they cause inflammation and damage in your gut. This is different from IBS, or irritable bowel syndrome, which definitely causes pain and discomfort, but doesn't cause physical damage to your GI. No inflammation, hence not IBD. It's annoying that IBD start with I, but it's a different I. Inflammation or irritable. So for this video, I'm talking about IBD, I'm not talking about IBS. There are also a few conditions that don't exactly look like Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, so those can land in this super helpful IBD unclassified category, but most of the time, IBD is referring to ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease. Symptoms of both Crohn's and UC can include nausea, gut pain, weight loss, fatigue, and some, shall we say, unpleasant bathroom experiences. Those symptoms can cool off or flare up depending on medications you're taking, what food you've eaten recently, your level of stress, or just complete and total randomness. And IBD of any type can cause problems outside of your gut too. All of that inflammation in your gut can make it harder for your body to absorb enough nutrients. Some research estimates that up to 85% of people with IBD suffer from malnutrition. In adults, that can cause weight loss, but for children, it can even stunt their growth. And as your body struggles to absorb things like protein, vitamins, or electrolytes, it can affect your whole body, including your muscles, bones, skin, hair, and eyes. In particular, these conditions can make it harder to absorb iron, and that combined with the literal wounds in your gut can lead to anemia. While your guts might be draining like a faucet, your blood and energy reserves are too, causing fatigue. So not only are you feeling crappy, you're just generally pooped too. So why does this happen? Well, it's all thanks to your immune system going rogue and not doing what it's supposed to do. They're all autoimmune disorders, where your immune system gets its wires crossed and starts attacking your gut tissue. Researchers are still trying to identify an exact cause, and right now it seems like there are multiple things that can contribute to someone's risk of developing IBD. Genetics is a big one, and researchers are investigating whether mutations related to reining in your immune system, managing your gut bacteria, and determining the thickness of your gut's mucus barrier might play a role. Then, the environmental factors like antibiotics, processed foods, or stress might step in to piss off your immune system and trigger the disease if you have the genetics to predispose you to that kind of thing. But even with all of this overlap between Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, they are distinct diseases, and the main difference is where the problem shows up in the gut. Ulcerative colitis strikes the rectum and colon, while Crohn's can target anywhere in the GI tract, though it seems to prefer the end of the small intestine and the beginning of the large intestine. There's also a difference when it comes to exactly how the immune system freaks out. In Crohn's disease, immune cells called T helper cells type 1, or Th1s, seem to be the main culprit, and in ulcerative colitis, it's the atypical T helper cells type 2, or Th2s, that cause the most trouble. Both types of cells produce cytokines, which are signaling molecules. Think of them as your immune system's version of a flare gun. All of those cytokines trigger the inflammatory response and activate other immune cells, calling the immune system to battle against the gut tissue itself. So all of this is pretty bad, which is why there's been so much work investigating how to treat these diseases. And at least when it comes to UC, it seems like a potential treatment might also be the one thing that we all know is terrible for your health: smoking. You've heard this everywhere. Smoking is bad for you. Your lungs hate smoking, your heart and blood vessels hate smoking, your brain hates smoking. Heck, even your eyes and reproductive system and pancreas hate smoking. Smoking is associated with everything from strokes to diabetes, heart attacks, and an absolute smorgasbord of cancers. But researchers have noticed a weird connection between smoking and UC, but this time it's a good thing, as in their ulcerative colitis gets better if they smoke. People first started noticing this bizarre correlation back in the 80s. Some researchers realized that only a very small fraction of the ulcerative colitis patients at their clinic were smokers. And whether you were alive back then or have ever seen an episode of Stranger Things, that might raise an eyebrow because smoking was super popular in the 80s. Having a small number of smokers in any group of people was pretty unusual. In their study, 44% of people smoked in the control group, but only 8% of ulcerative colitis patients were smokers. According to survey data, smoking rates through the 80s in the UK ranged from about 30 to 35%, so these ulcerative colitis patients were weird even among the general public. They also found that non-smokers were anywhere from 3 to 6 times more likely to develop ulcerative colitis than smokers were. With numbers like that, you don't need a gut feeling to know something weird is going on. So researchers knew that smoking had a protective effect against ulcerative colitis. What was less clear was why. In the 1990s, scientists had done a handful of clinical trials where they tried to treat ulcerative colitis with nicotine gum, patches, or even enemas. At the time, they hypothesized that nicotine might make the mucus in the colon thicker, helping to protect the tissue, or that might help to suppress immune response. But those explanations don't exactly fit because those kinds of changes would be expected to improve any autoimmune disease affecting the gut. And as it turns out, not all forms of IBD like it when you light up. In fact, while smoking decreases your risk of getting ulcerative colitis, it increases your overall risk of getting.
That is really fucking weird. I know cigarette smoking prevents Parkinson's. That's not a unique effect of smoking. That's just nicotine. It has something to do with dopamine. Yeah, I never heard about this before, that smoking helps treat and prevent ulcerative colitis.
Getting Crohn's disease. And while treating Crohn's disease isn't always easy, quitting smoking is one of the few things you can do to improve your symptoms. Remember those environmental factors that can increase the risk of developing IBD? Smoking is one of them, at least when it comes to Crohn's. Plus, people who continued smoking after they got diagnosed with Crohn's disease were more likely to have a poorer outcome and more frequent flare-ups. Smoking might also increase the need for hospital stays and surgical intervention. All in all, smoking seems to be very bad for people with Crohn's disease, which also means that a lot of those ideas from the 90s about nicotine doing stuff to your gut don't make sense, because if it was that simple, then Crohn's patients would see just as many benefits as ulcerative colitis patients do. So researchers knew something else had to be going on in order for smoking to be so good for one IBD and so bad for the other. And good news, they think they've cracked it. It's all about your gut bacteria. Now there's evidence that nicotine specifically can help suppress those Th2 cells that are so overactive in ulcerative colitis. But that's not the whole story. A study from the Rican Center for Integrative Medical Sciences found that a better answer might already be on the table.
Next time you go on Destiny, can you start by clinically diagnosing him with the cancer? The DSA cancer to be exact, and then call him out on not speaking out on the Brian Tyler Cohen anti-Semitism and laughing at it, and offer to 2v2 Prezef or Dave or something.
Well, Dave is refusing to debate. He's flat out refused. So there's no point. But yeah, I'll call him out on the Brian Tyler Cohen thing. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
Tip of your tongue. Everybody's got a whole community of bacteria living in our mouths. Yes, even if you're really good at brushing your teeth, most of them don't cause any trouble, and a few of them are even good for you. One of those common mouth bacteria are Streptococcus species. Now, do not worry, these are not the kind that give you strep throat or cause flesh-eating disease or anything like that. They're the good guys. And when you swallow, bacteria in your mouth can travel down your GI with your saliva, including those strep bacteria. Usually, they get a free ride all the way through it to your toilet. The weird thing was that in people with ulcerative colitis who smoke, researchers found a buttload of these Streptococcus bacteria in their colons. Something about smoking was letting this oral bacteria stick around in the colon rather than just pass through. The researchers swabbed smokers' mouths for that oral bacteria, isolated several species, and then put them into the guts of mice with either Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. They found that it was specifically Streptococcus mitis that mimicked the effects of smoking. Giving it to the ulcerative colitis mice caused their inflammation to go down, but in the Crohn's disease mice, it led to inflammation up the wazoo. Even though this bacteria is usually harmless in healthy people, it has a direct effect on IBD symptoms. And since IBDs are the immune system going out of whack, the next step was for the researchers to see how this bacteria can influence the immune system at large. They found that strep mitis triggers an increase in Th1 cells in the gut, which means for Crohn's disease, it takes a crappy situation and makes it crappier. But in ulcerative colitis, since the major cell responsible is Th2, bonus Th1 is no problem. And it turns out the increase in Th1 cells can actually help combat the Th2 cells, which is what reduces the colitis inflammation. All of that explains how strep mitis can exacerbate or improve IBD depending on the condition, but it still doesn't explain why smoking makes those bacteria stick around in the gut. So to answer that, the researchers had to circle back to what smoking leaves behind. When you smoke a cigarette, the burning of the tobacco...
You did call it out a bit more than you saw. I did a few seconds before the point you started. He asked Mr. Mouton, what are we doing here? It's pretty lukewarm, but it's something. Yeah, I'll still call him out for it. That's not enough.
Produces benzene, which is a carcinogenic chemical. That gets into your lungs through the smoke you're inhaling, and then your body breaks that down into a bunch of other stuff, including a metabolite called hydroquinone. That metabolite was, unsurprisingly, found at much higher concentrations in the guts of smokers than non-smokers. Previous research has found that hydroquinone can have immunosuppressive effects, which could help dampen ulcerative colitis all on its own. And it's that immunosuppression that makes the gut less equipped to stop your mouth bacteria from setting up shop in your colon. In fact, hydroquinone seems to promote the growth of strep mitis in the intestines. So smoking leads to more hydroquinone, which allows for strep mitis from the mouth to grow in the intestines, which then increases the presence of Th1 cells, reducing Th2 cells and the ulcerative colitis inflammation that comes with them. Simple! Now, to be clear, this was a relatively small study, but it does explain why smoking both eases ulcerative colitis symptoms and makes the symptoms of Crohn's disease worse. And I know what you meant. Pro-inflammatory molecules, smaller ulcers, fewer disease symptoms like bloody stools, and fewer immune cells attacking in general. But that's just how it worked in mice. Right now, the only hydroquinone on...
Interesting. Dodo tells and diagnose him with cancer too. In his mind, he thinks he is one of the few people left fighting against DSA, and then he literally makes DSA talking points, ignores Mamdani, doesn't call out Adam Mockler, Brian Tyler Cohen, and all these other people. Yeah, I'm gonna call him out for that. The Adam Mockler thing was probably worse. Like, Adam Mockler's literally a fucking DSA agent. But yeah, I'm gonna call him out for that too, don't worry. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo. Appreciate it. Also, it would be good if you came more prepared with what you're going to talk about and some evidence or something, because sometimes I think he doesn't take you seriously. I think he does. He just tries to bullshit. But thanks again, Dodo. All right, it's late. I'm going to get to bed. I think the only thing I really have to do tomorrow is take Isaac to go get his passport updated, but after, depending on when he wants to do that, either before or after, I think I'm going to do an early gaming stream. I do want to play BeamNG. There's the new update. We'll probably fuck around with some other racing games too. There's been some Assetto Corsa updates. Assetto Corsa, Assetto Corsa Evo and Assetto Corsa Rally got an update, and I do want to fuck around just more in Forza Horizon, so we'll probably do a big racing game stream, either morning or afternoon, then we'll do some normal, usual kind of streaming at night.